Something tells me it's not going to work. Business as usual. I think we're waiting on Peter still. What's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? Let me rewind this shit. Damn, this is not working. I created a new one. That is not what we want to do. Oh. Oh. Nope, can you hear me? I don't know. I think we're waiting on Peter too. Let me clean this up. Let me clean up the box. Shit, boy. No, can you hear me? I don't know. I think we're waiting on Peter too. Let me clean this up. Let me clean up the box. 10-second delay. That's cool. Can everybody hear me? What's going on, everybody? What's up, Knothead Brewing? What's up, you Braj? Hope that YouTube video is coming along good. Let me see what's going on really fast. Really slow, normal latency. Okay.
Just say it.
This is the best work we've ever done.
Subscribe to Homebrew for life. I don't think anybody can hear me though. I don't know what's going on. Let me try. Is Peter in here yet? No, he's not. I don't know what's going on. Let me try. Let me try to kill this one fast. Peter in here yet? No, he's not. Yeah, they can hear me. What's up, Patrick Sandy? Yeah, what's up, Mesa? How you doing, bro? Yeah, these guys can't hear me though. Can you guys hear me now? Let me try to kill this one fast. Let me disconnect. Let's join the video call. Can you guys hear me now? I don't know what's going on with this shit. Let me go to... Come on, man. I just want this shit to work. Okay, so input device is that. Output device. What about now? Can you guys hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're here. What's up, everybody?
I don't know.
It's working now?
I hope my
Yeah.
internet works for this.
Sweet.
Mine
What
is
up,
pretty
dude? The
long
Brage
time
down there in Clyde El Brage.
Busy Brage.
Yo, I think we're good, man. What's up, everybody? What's going on,
Yeah.
Peter?
Yo,
How we doing, man?
let me make sure I got the right microphone on.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yep.
Let me make this a
Sounds
little bit bigger. Can everybody hear everybody? Is there anybody in there? Let me bring my shit up a little bit higher. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Check. I can get super close to my microphone.
No, that sounds good.
It's ASMR shit.
Hey, I think we're good, man. What's going on, everybody? 6 minutes in. That's a record for getting my shit together.
Whoa.
All right, man. What's everyone drinking tonight? Let me get this shit out of the way.
Got some
So
punch
far,
bowl.
this-
Oh, he's drinking water? What a loser. I got a Japanese style dry rice lager. So what's up, everybody? We got Peter down there from Spokane. We got Noam up there in Rhode Island. We got Alias down there in Mexico, man. How's Mexico treating you, you brunge?
Oh, we lose him?
Yeah, we lost Alias. It's all good, man.
Oh.
Ollie, how many fingers am I holding up? What's going on, Ryan
Yeah,
Michaels? What's up, Zach Peterson? What's up, Will? What's up, Box 8 Brewing? I'm willing to bet this whole batch of beer. Anybody want to bet CH's mic isn't working right away? You know what it is this time, but we're missing Alias. I don't know what's up with that.
Probably internet there or something.
We did have him for a little bit, though. Because if I hear you, Noam, I should be able to hear him.
Yeah.
Or Peter, for that matter.
His audio, his video just unfroze. So I don't know.
I'm gonna boot.
Step in the right direction.
I'm gonna boot everybody and then bring him back in.
Yeah.
Let's just do it this way. Sorry for this, everybody. Alias. See, he's unfrozen now, but nobody can hear him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna slug this beer though, man. Hey, I built a chest freezer.
Saw.
I'm getting back there,
I'm jealous.
man. Yeah. You're on the picnic
I gotta
tab
get on that
system.
before it gets too cold. Or else I'll just I'll put it off again next year.
Well, you already have a chest freezer, right? All you have to do is build the collar.
Yeah, and find the weather stripping. Or do you just use what you take off? I don't know, do you just reuse that, I guess?
All kind of
I don't
depends.
know how it works.
All kind of depends on what's going on with the chest freezer. It can vary. You might want to sand that down with like gnarly sandpaper, or I didn't have to. I've got a brand new one. I just kind of dealt with a clusterfuck today. I'll talk about that here in a second, though. But
Nice.
It's all good, man. I want to shout out to everybody for being here. I don't know. The things are all kind of synced up. It's pulling in last week's streaming, even though I created a new one. But while we're here, I want to give a shout out to the Barrages last week for super chatting. Zach Pearson, I think he's in here right now. Thanks, Barrage. A day in the life. Thank you, Barrage. I drank, my buddy from LA. I love him, but I hate the Dodgers, and it's going to be tough watching the Padres play tonight and be on here. But the show's got to go on because it's Wednesday night, everybody. I don't know if it's going to happen for all he has.
Do you have the
yes.
video on, but it muted behind you?
Oh, no, I don't even want to do
Behind
that.
you.
I have too much ADD as is. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I don't know if it's going to work for Alias, but we'll keep trying it. I don't know if he's on the Wi-Fi down there, but he's in Playa del Carmen. He's vacationing in Mexico, and I think he's coming back today or tomorrow.
I think you said tomorrow.
4 or 5 days in Mexico, man. I can do 3 days, and I got to come back. But, yeah, we got a little mix-up tonight. We got Peter from Genius in here. Peter, what's going on with you, Braj?
Not too much.
How's the beer life treating you, man? How's the YouTube, the streaming, the content, the brewery?
It's good. It's picking back up. I'm here a lot more hours now, so a lot more stuff's happening and trying to get more content out. I just finished up a video today, actually, so that should be published in the next couple days.
Can we talk about it, or is that on the South Slope?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
What's the video?
It's a blueberry French toast bagel beer video. So we did a collab for local competition thing that we've got here in the valley, and we had to collaborate with other businesses that are non-beer businesses.
Okay.
We collaborated with the Hidden Bagel Company, and they brought their blueberry cinnamon French toast bagels, and so we made a beer out of it.
Nice, dude.
Hidden bagel, crouch in French toast.
There he is. What up, Alias? We can finally hear him.
Got it. Yeah, sorry. I just restarted my computer and it seems like everything's going much better now.
I wish it
Nice.
just worked, man. You know, everyone's like, don't change your settings and this and that. It has nothing to do with that. You know, this whole PC.
So I hadn't
streaming-
restarted my computer in like ages, so that probably doesn't help.
You brought your laptop down to Mexico?
Yeah.
Nice. Did you get pulled
I was
over
just-
going through customs for being Brown Man Brewing?
So it's funny. I wore my original shirt through the airport, and I got
Yeah,
pulled over once I was in Mexico. But it wasn't for anything. It was like, well, maybe it was because my cousin and her husband were traveling with their baby, and they had a bunch of stuff. And I was like, hey, I get free 2 bags with like Southwest. I can take one of the things, and so I took one of them. And like when I was carrying it through, like picking up the baggage after customs. Like it's like a gray rectangle square thing, and it's just like, all right, yeah. And they're like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's a mattress for a baby bed. And they're like, what baby? Because like my cousin and her husband already had gone through, and I was just like, yeah, about that. It's for my family. They're like, yeah, go scan that shit.
That's hilarious.
That's funny, man. That is funny.
Check it for cocaine.
I mean,
Those
it
nose
did look like a
nachos.
bit like a gun bag, like not to lie.
Dodgers fucking scored. Freddie Freeman, goddamn him. Goddamn him, man.
They have the game on here at the bar too. So,
Who are people rooting for down there in Mexico?
I don't know.
Oh, you're
actually.
at a bar?
Yeah, I'm like at one of the like lobby bars.
Oh, that's why you were like, can you hear the background?
Yeah, because there's a lot
Oh.
of background noise, and I'm just like surprised you guys don't hear any of it. I
No.
don't know
So
if you
cool.
guys do.
That is cool, and that's ballsy too. I always trip out about my fan up here, but you guys can't hear that, right?
No.
No, not at all.
Dude, my fan is
And
like
I
a-
Discord has like a
And
built-in.
I decided to go with like one of
noise
the bars that's
cancellation.
indoors because like I need the AC. The humidity is killer here, man.
Dude, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've got the perfect weather down here, and it's just funny because everyone's texting me thunder and lightning and all this stuff in San Diego, and you're telling me about humidity. And now I don't know, man. We get really good 4 seasons out here in Knoxville. What just happened? Oh, we got it.
I don't hear it.
What up, Reg A? What's up, man? Welcome to Barrage Army. I think that's what we're calling it these days. Reg A, but we got the tomato, we got the avocado shaking his booty.
Hello.
Brewing bad, go Braves. I'm down with the Braves. I wanted the Braves to win, and I want Seattle to win too.
Yeah, I'd like to see teams
want,
that haven't been in it in a while. You know,
I
what
want Astros to win. Sorry.
Astros
No,
had a
Seattle.
hell of a comeback, man. I thought the Padres were going to do the same.
Dude,
Oh, you
like
mean
in the
yesterday?
ninth,
Yeah, Jordan
like the
Alvarez.
2 in the 8th, and then the walk-off 3-run home run in the 9th. Oh, that was so good.
That was great, man. It's just playoff baseball. It's so rad. I don't even give a shit about the NFL right now. Red J, man. Red J. I like that.
Jay.
Yeah, man. Padres have to win tonight, or it's pretty much over. I mean, never say never, but you're not going to win 3 in a row against the Dodgers. You have to win tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter's up there in Spokane. Spokane,
Fruit fly.
Spokane, like can.
Yeah, can. Spokane and Gonzaga.
Yeah, so he's got the Ryan Leafs up there, the Washington State Cougars. But other than that, people probably pull for Seattle Mariners, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, first time since they've been in playoffs and since they won the regular season wins record way back in like 2001 or something like that.
Really? It's been that long?
Something
Shit.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like 2000, I think even.
Oh,
Something
shit.
ridiculous.
It is 2001. Who's been kicking an ass in that division?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't follow baseball that much.
AL West?
That'd be the Astros.
I think it's filled with a bunch of shit teams, isn't it? Like I think the A's are on in
Oakland?
there, which they're awful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oakland, Astros,
Oh, the Astros have been
Mariners,
dominating.
Oh.
and
Good luck.
I forget the last one.
You know what annoys me? So Vasquez from the Red Sox got traded to the Astros, and he's been sitting on the bench, and he's way
What?
better than the catcher they're using. It makes no sense to me.
That does
the
make
dude they're
any
using
sense
is
at
batting
all
like
to me.
185.
Politics, man.
That's-
Speaking of West Coast, we got Pacific Northwest in the house, man. PNW Living. Sounds like a good name for a YouTube channel or a radio station. What up, Full Field Straw? All right,
I'm
so
in Mexico.
he's in Mexico. I want to hear about the craft brew scene in a second. Peter, are you going to drink a beer tonight? You just switching to water. Electrolyte, $4 water.
Yeah, this is just refilled water, but I'm debating it right now. I got the 25K on Sunday, so I'm trying to like be slightly less fat for that.
Okay. 25K is what, about 10 miles?
15.6.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did my longest run so far today at 3 miles. So I figure if I just double that every day until then, I should be good.
Right on, man. What up, Italian Rob? We got Florida in the house. So I just drank a Japanese-style dry rice lager. It's exactly how it said. I was like, hey, it tastes like sake to me. And then on the bottom, it says lager fermented on Ben's American Sake Koju. Not really
There
my
you go.
style. I don't like it. Kind of just reminds me too much of a sake bomb. 2021
Yeah.
GABF Gold for experimental beer.
That sounds delicious to me. I want to try it. Send me
Well,
one.
I've always said if a beer tastes like how it's described, it's a great beer, and this tastes exactly like how it's described. It's just not my vibe. It's not bad or good. It's just not my vibe.
Well, save me one if you got an extra one. Save me one for January.
Peter's coming out. These Brogers are coming out. There's the GABF. They put it on the can right there. You guys will see it in about 10 seconds.
There you go.
But I'm going in. I got a new brewery, a new beer I got today. Don't knock anything over.
What are you drinking now?
Numsky.
Something called Punch Bowl. It's got like pineapple,
Bowl
mango,
social?
apricot, passion fruit, raspberry, and blood orange.
That sounds so good.
I had a great beer today, but it was only a taster of it. I was blowing a fuse. I'll tell you about my problem today. It was a big problem. I mean, I let it be a big problem. But I'll tell everybody what not to do. What not to do. Has anybody ever gone to Home Depot 3 times in the same day trying to blow their brains out?
No.
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
Yeah, I'm at Highwire. I work at Highwire. I only wanted to pick up a couple shifts, but I'm doing 5 shifts these days. So that's kind of more the big
shit.
reason Homebrew for Life is on a hiatus. But I've got a serious backlog, and there should be a video out either tomorrow or Friday by the latest. But I kind of plot twisted it today. It went from like how to build a keezer
Do what
to
not to do.
what's up?
Do what not to do when building a keezer.
Kind of like a Kegerator versus keezer breakdown, how they're similar, how they're
Okay.
different, and I'm using old
That's a
footage
good
of
video.
yeah, it'll work, I think.
Are you like using old footage from when you built your like Kegerator in
Yeah.
California?
Yeah, that was like from 3 years ago. and
Perfect.
yeah, did you watch that video?
I did.
Oh, thanks, dude.
That was kind of like the one reason why I went Kegerator over keezer
Oh, right
when I was in
on.
my apartment.
Nice.
And
Look at this.
so like yeah, that was like one of the videos I had watched when I was first getting into like kegging, because I was burning out with brewing because of bottling,
Yeah.
and I bought my Kegerator literally like maybe a
Awesome
week
can label.
before lockdown,
Yeah. That can burn you out.
and it was the best decision ever because like I was able to make beer, like I was still able to brew during lockdown,
Yeah.
but like I was able to keep like had a hobby to do because like everything else was like you weren't allowed to do during lockdown, but brewing you could. So it's just like having Kegerator and brewing, it's just like yeah, it's fantastic.
That's totally true, man. And that could make you quit brewing forever, take a long hiatus off. You know, there's things that burn people out. Bottling sucks, but I think a big one that happens to a lot of people is when they do go to kegging, but they're not really using Teflon tape or using hose clamps, or they're moving too much stuff around, and their CO2 tank burns out, and it just takes all of the air out of their motivation sail, and it's just tough to get back into. So I'm putting like an emphasis kind of on that. If it's got a thread, use Teflon tape. If it's got a hose,
Put a clamp.
use a hose clamp on it. Always use these things unless it's one of those things that snaps on or off. Don't use anything on those things, whether it's a claw hammer system.
Yeah,
or
because you'll fuck those up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else burns people out on homebrewing? Just having bad batches, bottling too much.
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
Bottling, yeah, because bottling like 4 gallons to 5 gallons is like it takes so much time, and now you're waiting another 2.5 weeks before you can even drink your beer, right?
That's true. And people that use those little Camden taps, or not the Camden taps, but the CO2 pills, those little tablets.
Pills, yeah.
I used those one time,
yeah.
and my beers were completely different levels of carbonation. Maybe that was better.
Really?
They're better now than they were 7 years ago, but that could burn a lot of people out. And the bummer about bottling too is I feel like you give a lot of that beer away, so you're like, damn, I brewed all that beer and spent all that time and all this money.
And you gift it to friends and family and whatnot, right? And so it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't end up with as much as I wanted to.
You want to show it off, and you're like, damn, I'm already out of beer. I got to do this whole process again, where it's so easy just to go down to the store and buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack.
Right.
Yeah, I think bad batch is number one.
Yeah, I would say so.
CO2 tank's a motherfucker, man. Everybody thinks that their CO2 burns out super fast. It's like, no, a 5-pound tank will last forever if there's no leaks in there.
Right. So I moved to 10 pounds because, like,
Dude,
when you have 3 taps,
yeah,
when you have 3 taps, 10 pounds, like, is good because, like, it still fits in on that, like, shelf thing.
Yeah.
In the keezer. And, like, yeah, it just lasts for fucking ever.
Forever.
And when you're, like, purging stuff and whatever, I have a spare 5-pounder that I keep around for, like, pushing out, like, PBW and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
And pretty much what I'll do is just fill it with a little bit, start the tap, and then pull it and let it self-siphon itself.
Yeah.
That
for
was
sure.
one thing that saved me a lot of CO2 is when I just let it siphon. Like, you just use CO2 to create the siphon and then pull it off immediately.
100%, man. Peter, would you, as a person that owns a homebrew store, do you hear stories about people that are like, I got burned out, or obviously getting like a DUI or losing weight or a lifestyle thing would, keep people from homebrewing? But do you hear anything that kind of like, this got me back into it, or this burned me out on it? Reasons why?
Yeah, I think a lot of people try to get they get a little bit too into it too fast, and then they come up with like I think unrealistic goals in terms of what they're trying to do. And so I always try to frame it in the easiest possible way for some people, because some people are like, oh, I want to know this, I want to know this, I want to know this, and when I'm answering questions, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you as deep as you want to go right now because
I don't have that time.
I know
there's a line.
Yeah, I know that if you try to go this deep, then I'm gonna either over-explain it or try to make it sound scarier than it really is, and
Scare you away.
Just try to make it like the first time you're just gonna it's gonna be fine beer. That's the thing. It's if you just do the simple things right, then it's gonna be fine beer, and then you can once you get that base of knowledge, you can work on getting good beer.
Yeah, and I think that people that
A lot
get
of people do change for lifestyle stuff.
and there's two people I've noticed about brand new homebrewers that two things. A, they have this dead set idea that they want to open up a brewery. People that have been brewing for, a decade plus, which is not me. Chip and Brian and Larry and all these guys are like, no, they just want to brew beer. Like, this is a hobby. I don't want to do this for a living. But I think there's new people that get into, like, I want to take over the world and be the next Ballast Point or be the next Stone. And, a bad batch of beer will deflate that. And there's also another thing about people that get into brewing. I think that all this expensive equipment is kind of geared towards them, so they'll spend more money. And then if a batch goes south, it's even more of like,
They're like, I spent
fuck,
all this money.
I just bought a $500 fermenter because it looks like something I saw at a brewery and the beer sucked. It's a nightmare to clean. What do I do with it? Do I brew again? I think from that batch 1 to batch 2 really filters a lot of people out. And I talked about that in a video. Josh Wiseman made a video. I'm like, we need to explain this to people because the success rate of somebody going from batch 1 to batch 2 is like 80% fallout rate. And then from maybe 2 to 3 to 4, the success is way higher. It's way better that they're going to get the bug, get the itch.
Right. Like when you get to your 5th batch, you've pretty much caught the bug at that point.
You learn how to turn it over faster. You got better at like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do, a Saison or something. You probably don't give as much beer away.
Obviously.
Yeah, you don't give as
Saison's the
much
best
beer
first
away.
batch.
I remember the first couple of batches I brewed of beer, I was like, I can't bottle anymore. So what did I do? I would put it in growlers. I would put it in growlers. Like, well, I'm going over to a buddy's house to show off these beers. I got to bring 5 growlers. That's half my yield. fuck. So I'm, now after batch 5, I'm like, I'm going to hold on to this stuff a little bit. Obviously, people come over to my house, we can drink my beer, but I'm not putting it in bottles, printing out labels and giving it to all my freeloading loser ass friends.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's super cool. I think that's super cool if you really have homebrewing down and maybe you're doing 10-gallon batches and you have that, I would love to send people bottles of beer, cans of beer with a cannular, 16-ounce thing and put Homebrew for Life on it and send it to people. But I would have to do 10-gallon batches in that regard. I don't know.
Box 8 Brewing's asking where you're at, Alias.
Yeah, I'm in a all-inclusive resort in Mexico right now with my family, and so they're
He's
getting ready
living.
for dinner,
He's chilling.
and I'm just drinking beers and hanging out on the happy hour
Hell yeah, you
before
are.
dinner.
Hey, so what's
Have
up
a good
with
night,
the,
Dylan.
Pulls up behind you and flashes the camera.
what's up?
I'm hoping someone just pulls up behind you and flashes the camera.
I know. I'm
Something out of the
surprised
blue.
no one's
yeah.
walked by yet. Even someone being funny
Right,
and
I'm
wearing
surprised
like a
someone's
Jason
tried to
mask.
photobomb it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I saw
It's
someone
all
walk
good.
by.
so Alios, you were saying
But, like-
earlier, what's up with the craft beer scene in Mexico? You said it's coming back or it's getting going right
So,
now.
It's
'Cause-
getting going.
And
so,
tell
like,
everybody
there's
where
a
you
couple-
are, because you're pretty far down there.
Yeah, I'm down south, so I'm like Playa del Carmen, which is like just like an hour south of Cancun, which most folks tend to know.
Yeah.
And so like we all fly into Cancun, and then we took a shuttle down here, and like my resort's about 25 minutes south from like downtown Playa del Carmen.
What's the
But yeah,
population?
and it's pretty small. It's pretty small.
Like
and-
200,000 or like 2 million?
Ooh, nah, I would say like. Yeah,
Because I want to do the per capita thing.
well, there's only 2 breweries technically in Playa del Carmen.
Population del Playa de Carmen. Peter, we're gonna talk about population.
300,000. There you go.
300,000? That's more than Knoxville.
Yeah.
And there's 25 breweries here, soon to be 29. So that's
Yeah,
a
so-
perfect place to open up a brewery. That is a perfect place.
Right. So the main issue that
God
so
damn,
like
that's a good-
craft beer hasn't really been a big thing here in Mexico
No.
until like very recently. And the cities that were like getting that like have breweries that have been open for like 10 years or so are up north, kind of near like the US Mexico border. So you have like Monterrey, Baja, those areas, like especially closer to like California, because like the hops and grains kind of coming from that California
Influence.
from that West Coast side,
Yeah.
right? The PNW, like Yakima Valley area, that's much easier to import down to there than all the way down south here to like Cancun and Playa del Carmen. And also the water down south is more harder than the water up north.
It's good for IPAs, bro. There's a lot of
And-
minerals.
And so they're kind of
West Coast
trying to
IPAs.
figure out, and I think they're trying to like have like the NEPAs and stuff like that, and they're just not working. Like I've tried like 3 different NEPAs, and I've just like it's just completely off.
Yeah.
And like and I think it comes down to the water being too hard. It's just not where they want it to be, and they're still learning also. But like their closures were fantastic. The session IPA I had was fantastic. That unfiltered Goza that I sent you guys a picture of, that was super good. Like that was probably my favorite beer here.
Did they use fruit in
And-
that? There was like some chunky type stuff floating
Yeah,
around
I think
in there.
some of it was
wasn't
yeast and some of it was actual fruit. Yeah.
All right, yeah. I was meaning to ask you.
I mean, how he poured it was like not the best, but so it like shook up everything in the bottle. But I was like, whatever. But honestly,
Oh,
it
it
was
was from a bottle. Okay.
yeah. But
yeah, I
dude,
guess.
it was so good. That one with like the fruit flavor, the guava, the passion fruit, like it was just like, oh my god, it was so good, and it wasn't too sour or anything like that.
Good.
Even
That
my
sounds
mom,
like an easy beer to
who
fuck
does
up.
not like drinking, she was like, that one's not too bad.
Nice.
She actually had 2 sips instead of like the typical one and cringe kind of thing.
And that's funny too, because when I think of Mexico, I think of Europe, and I think of Stone failing in Germany and Beijing. Because what if Central and South America and Mexico been drinking for the last billions and billions of years. What's
Just
Europe been
lager.
drinking? Super light lagers.
Lagers. Yeah.
So it's weird for, to get acclimated. Like my dad still
Padre
does.
scores.
Padre scored, baby. We're going
Yeah.
NBC. But it's just weird to kind of jump in there,
We're
whether
doing NBC.
you're Stone or you're Budweiser, and just be like, boom, everybody, West Coast IPA, 7%, 70 IBUs,
Right. So what's funny is like
$25
that had a-
for a 6-pack.
and the thing is like
What?
I have
What?
plenty of B-roll if you want to make a clip out of this too.
Sure.
So to send to you. And so like because like where I was having the beers were like I went to one brewery, but it was like a tap room because their main brewery is kind of still going under construction because they're expanding kind of thing. And so they're not doing tours and they only sell cans there. So I'm like, all right. Then I went to their public tap room by the beach. And they were telling me like check out these two other places like Club de la Cerveza and
Your Mexican accent's
Colección.
spot on, by the way.
I know,
Oh,
right? I would butcher that. I wouldn't even attempt it. I'd be like
Yeah,
just
I'm out.
Americanizing that shit.
and
Yeah.
Colección
Oh,
de Mexicanos Cervezas. They're owned by they have the same owner, but one has like more beers from around the world rather than just like Mexican craft beers, and then the other one had just mostly Mexican craft beers. And I had told you guys that like one of the breweries that I had tried, their head brewer is 26 years old.
That's
which
awesome.
Fucking blows my mind.
That's awesome.
He went from like an engineer to being a head brewer, and it was like started by like 3 different folks, and they're killing it. Like they're probably the #1 craft beer seller here in Mexico.
It's a good story, man. It's a good story. I think the key to starting a new trend, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think that you have to kind of go down there and be a small brewery, like a West Coast IPA house, and kind of get acclimated. I think if you go down there with too much money, like Stone went out of business and was bombing in Beijing and Berlin way before even COVID. But I think you need to just kind of be like maybe a 5-barrel brew house, kind of go in there and let people kind of take their time and come to you. But if you come in there like, oh, we have billions of dollars,
Una cerveza?
but we have to hit all this money this fast, these people are just going to come jump on board. It's like, no, I think it takes time. I think people have to get acclimated. Like my dad still thinks IPAs taste like soap. It reminds him of getting his mouth washed out from his mom when he used to say the bad word growing up. Yeah. So it just takes time.
Right.
And my dad now is 71 years old. So he's like, I can't drink IPAs. I just can't. He doesn't drink beer anymore. When he drinks, it's a glass of red wine or a Manhattan. So his kind of, ship sailed. That window kind of closed. But I'm sure if my dad was living my age in 2022, whatever year we're in, he would have been just like me, if not more, or maybe a little bit less. But I'm sure he would have loved it.
Yeah.
Probably less.
I think especially if you're doing something as niche as like craft beer, like you can't come out like full on swing hard, right? Like I think like get the attention of kind of like the hipsters, get like a small group of folks, like get their attention and then grow like from them kind of thing.
Yeah, if I were to go down there hard like Stone, well, it's just weird because even people from the South come into High Wire Brewery in Tennessee,
Right.
and they're like, "Whoa, I drink NASCAR beer," and I know to give them like the cheapest lager. They're like, "Whoa, I drink lawnmower beer." So if you're trying to tell me that there's still people in America that are like what's going on? Whoa. There's millions more people in
outside of that
Guatemala,
area,
Eastern Europe, Panama, this and that. And it might be, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's good to get to the table fast and, hit them with a big
kind of just hit them with a big bang. Yeah.
But the bummer about that, though, is when I went to Montevideo 5 years ago and went to Uruguay, all their IPAs were super malty. They were super dark. And I was like, dude, you're giving people the wrong expression, So
They haven't caught on yet.
What's up?
They haven't caught on yet.
They haven't caught on yet. I know that they're good with marketing tools. They're good with descriptions. They're good with IBUs. They're good with price tags. But make your beers taste more like Swami's IPA from Pizza Port if you're doing a West Coast IPA.
I remember like back when New England IPAs like first started like coming around, there were, it was hard to find like the good ones. There weren't too many people making good ones.
Yeah.
And so I could see how that would be a problem, especially in like other countries. It takes a while before basically the knowledge spreads. I'd be surprised now if breweries aren't able to at least do a solid representation, but
Sure.
I don't know.
Hey, no, this
Everyone's
is a good.
different.
Here's a good point too. Maybe I'm wrong, which I'm generally kind of not wrong, but just kind of bullshitting. Beer is different. Like if you came in with Mexican food from San Diego and put it anywhere in the world, it would crush. It would crush. Like food is different. Maybe wine or whiskey is a little bit different. I don't know. I think
food goes differently than like introducing folks to beer. Yes,
it works different. Like if you brought me the best Asian food and put it anywhere from, wherever the best Asian food is and put it in any city, it would fucking slay ball it. Beer is different.
but like you take a craft beer place from anywhere like in the States and put it into
yeah, but if you
a
fucked
new
with
place, it might not do well.
yeah, but if you fucked with alcohol, like hey, like wine, Cabernet Sauvignon been killing it forever, right? 12% ABV, 14% ABV. Why don't we jack it up, call it West Coast Cabernet Sauvignon, add even like more grapes, and see what happens? Because that's kind of what craft beer did. That's kind of what the West Coast IPA was.
Right.
What's your take on that, Peter?
Hops Cabernet Sauvignon. Should do it.
Hops
First person to do
Cabernet
it.
Sauvignon. Has anyone done a beer wine?
I mean,
Sangria,
there's
lager?
I guess barley wine?
Italian grape ale.
Barley
But,
wine has nothing to do with wine. People just think it does because of
Right.
the name.
Yeah,
Barley-
the name.
Well, it's also the high ABV and stuff like that too, right? The
That's where it
malty-
gets it. But barley wine's just
color.
like a Scotch ale. It's like a 13%
Yeah.
dark, super dark, maybe a braggot. What's the one? What am I thinking of? A wee heavy? Is there really a difference between a Scotch
Yeah,
ale, a
that's-
wee heavy, and a barley wine? They all just
Barley wine's more like a hoppy beer, so it's more like an English IPA that's aged well, or like a West Coast IPA that's aged well, but just taken to the max. So
No, what is that? That looks so good.
Peter, what's your number one
On my
seller?
board.
What style of beer is your number one seller at Chinas Brewing? I'm gonna guess it's a West Coast IPA or a lager. Am I wrong?
you are wrong. It's a Castermuncher Coffee Kolsch.
Coffee Kolsch. Fuck me hard, dude. I would have never put my money on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or a red ale that we do called Jerry. We'd make it different every single time. Or it's IPAs. IPAs up there. They compete, but
How many beers do you have on
Most would
draft?
be technically a lot.
20.
Right?
How many beers do you have on draft, Peter?
20,
You have 20 beers on draft. How many Pilsners do you have?
0.
Oh, okay. And how many West Coast IPAs do you have? Or IPAs over 50 IBUs? Beers over 50 IBUs?
3 right now.
And
Well, anywhere between 1 and 4.
And is the number one 50 north of 50 IBUs? Is that a West Coast IPA or is that a hazy?
Right now, it's a fresh hop. We never make the same beer twice, though, so that's kind of our shtick.
Dude,
So
you're
it's
just like
not
pretentious.
consistent.
There's a brewery in
I like
Knoxville called Pretentious. Well, the problem with that, though, and I have a problem with this brewery, and I don't go there, is because they have too high turnover with their head brewers. You have to have a really good brewer to do one-offs all of the time.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of hit or miss.
There's
also-
a lot more miss than hit.
What's up?
yeah.
I'm gonna
All
get
right,
fired.
But
fair
also,
enough.
what sucks is
What up,
like as a
Joseph Ide?
customer, I feel like it'd be like if you're not getting like if that beer is only there for like a little bit, like you're not gonna
Hone it in
see
and get
that
it
beer
better.
again. Or just like
Yeah,
you can't be like, oh, I can go there every Friday and have me a beer that's beer that I really like kind of thing.
Right. You don't have your signatures. Here's the problem with this. The nicest restaurants in the
Beer gets brought
world.
to you.
There you go.
Jorge.
What up, Jorge Castro? The nicest restaurants in the world, they have chefs that have the menu that can change daily or this and that.
Oh, is Jorge Castro here?
The brewery that I go that's in Knoxville changes their menu up every day, but they have a new head brewer 3 or 4 times a year. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So, Peter, are you still the head brewer? I mean, I'd imagine you're in charge of recipe development, but are you doing the majority of the execution, the brewing?
I am now. I was Patrick Sandy just kind of hit that on the head. Tim was the head brewer for about 3 years since we moved into the new location, and he is no longer here.
Oh,
So,
dude, I didn't know that, man.
yeah, it's a bummer.
Is with Nat 20 now or something.
Yep, Nat 20.
Yeah. Shout out to Tim, man. Had a lot of fun watching his videos. He had good energy, good vibe all around, and knew about beer and was cool on the live streams.
Yeah, he's also going to. So he's going to be in the last. He's going to be in the bagel beer video. He brewed the first half of the bagel beer.
Gotcha.
I had to finish up with the flavorings because that was right in the middle of that transition thing. But
So
now I'm back to being the brewer.
Okay, so he was the sidekick pretty much after Logan, the most like tenured, concrete, this and that with the content. Are you looking for more of a brewer now, or more of a face on the TV, or same Venn diagram?
I don't really know what the next stage in that is going to be. I think what I'm going to try to do is, now that I'm brewing again, is just try to get the camera back in the brew house more and just kind of open the box on the process we've got going on back there.
Yeah.
Let people see what we're making, because if I'm brewing, I might as well film it.
Yeah.
So.
And here's the thing with this, and I talk to Kyle from Clawhammer with this all the time. Me and Kyle talk to each other way too much these days. I love it, but we talk a lot, and I love it. But anyway, he had a video in his last video. He had a dude come out from New York. He's done a couple of videos, and he was talking about when the video kind of fell off, and you look at your analytics and this and that. And I was like, dude, I was kind of floating around with the same thing. I was like, I want to have this. I have a friend out here who knows about beer, but like Peter, if you put somebody in a video, you have to put him in like all the videos. Like it's going to take some time for the audience to get used to kind of a new person or this and that. You can't just have a new person every video unless they're a hot girl or a celebrity. But anything other than that, no one gives a shit. Like you have to put Tim or Logan or me and Maury. And so if I put this guy in the video, I got to keep putting him in videos, or else like it just, I pay, come over $75.
Yeah.
I got to work with this now. Can you come over? He can't make it this Monday. It's like, it's kind of a thing, unless they're really kind of consistent,
Yeah, and that's one of the hard challenges we've got here too, being both somebody who does YouTube videos and, having the whole. It was easy when it was just the homebrew supply side and the YouTube, but starting doing the brewing, especially the brewing on our scale now, where we've got the full tap room and everything like that.
Dude. There's 70 people in here. I'm sorry.
It gets super.
I was just beating up.
Oh, you're good. Nice.
Again. Yeah.
Telephone.
Yeah.
See, now I'm the one sorry, because I got a phone right next to me.
Twice
But
the
it gets hard because there's I don't force anybody to be in the videos, but once Logan kind of helped build the channel, he could edit videos and film and stuff too.
Yeah.
And then when he was gone and I needed to fill that spot, then Tim was great because he's super knowledgeable and he's super fun. He's got a great personality and everything like that, but he didn't know the video side thing, so it was kind of like a challenge making that transition to somebody who can understood it from beginning to end in production to someone who didn't.
Yeah.
And so he worked more into the live streams and like small bits. And now that he's gone, I don't know if I'd rather have somebody who can film and teach them how to brew, or if I'd rather have somebody who can brew and teach them how to, be on video or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to do most of it myself. And I've got an online editor that's going to do a lot of the editing to kind of offload some of that work for me.
No, and you're right. And a quick, I want to give a shout out to Meso, man. Maso things showing me some love, man. He says to motivate Noam, clean up his PC and wire management. Peter, change your face. My son thought you were me. Yeah, Peter, change your face. Northwest Small Batch Brewing has tipped $7. 70 barrages in the house, man. Shout out to Northwest. We got Northwest and we got Pacific Northwest showing us love tonight. But I know exactly what you're saying, because I'm going to start writing and helping out with Clawhammer because they lost Lawson. And I'm going to start doing my weird voiceover stuff and throw them like a minute in a Clawhammer video. But you can't, like, Peter, you're the head brewer. You can't sit down with a new guy and be like, hey, I got to brew, 2 batches of beer today, and then tag team how to edit a video with you. Like, you could do that once, but after that, it's like, unless you can edit and be kind of a turnkey videographer guy, something's going to slow down. There's only so many, how much you can brew and edit and film and this and that. Something's going to take a toll. And if you want that videographer guy A, it's probably not in the budget for anybody, you know. B, he's going to take his sweet ass time. He's not going to understand like, hey, you kind of need like a video once a week and this and that. So it's like an ongoing personal struggle, I think, for all of us home brewers, that, you know, like it's just better to do it yourself and fucking snort a gallon of Adderall and just do it than me try to deal with the kid on Craigslist. He's got to come over and I got to teach him how to edit, and I look back and he's checking his, you know, Instagram.
Fiverr.
Can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Fiverr's super inconsistent too. Like Fiverr is one of those, like, you can get some people who will do a great job and get it done for cheap, and there's some people that'll do a really shit job and
Job for expensive. Yeah.
Oh, I've had guys hound me. I'm like, hey, I want a logo with like Homebrew for Life with a beer and this and that, and they're just like, blat. Here's the shittiest thing ever. They're like, where's my $20? And I'm like, well, I need a couple revisions. They're like, no. And I'm like, well, I have all the leverage. So there's no like, no. At the end of the day, man, it's very difficult to find somebody that's on your page, let alone in like videography, anything, man. But, you know, brewery, people that have partners in brewers, people that have partners in construction. It's very difficult to get people on your page, and vice versa. I'm not on anybody else's page, probably. Fiverr sucks. Chris Radiation.
Too.
What'd you say?
That it makes collaboration really difficult too, especially when you like want to give everyone creative freedom, but you know, at the same time, like, you know, well, at least I'm talking about my team here, actually. Yeah. But I like to kind of give people their lane and say, hey, I'd love you to do whatever. I love to not think about that lane. Is kind of how I operate. Sure. So this is yours. This is your baby. And then people have various levels of like, you know, whether or not they can do things without that input. But I think the biggest vertical is if you have people around you that are creative and you can give them that freedom and they can just do what they want to be creative at.
And it takes time, even outside of YouTube. Like Kyle and I have been on the phone for about a year, and we're finally like on the same page. We're talking about like paste a video or this and that. Send me the thumbnail video. Oh, he has the Pornhub thing that says barely legal. Do you like that? I love that. But like take it and make it in the background, make it darker and make this lighter, make it stand out. Boom, this and that. And then that video hit for him. I'm not taking credit for that, you know, but we'll talk about a lot more. Like me and Kyle will sit down. I'm like, what did you like about my video? He'd be like, I like this, but it went on too long. That joke that you put at the end, you should have put that in your first 2 minutes. And I do the same thing to him. You know, if you, anything on planet Earth, all you guys know him, anybody in the chat, you give a free beer to a friend, you paint a picture and say, hey, how is this? Everyone's going to be like, it's good. It's so great. It's so good. That's the last thing you want. That's the last fucking thing you want. Hey, how was my meatloaf tonight? Oh, it was good. It was great. Why did you fucking throw it away? How come you didn't eat the whole thing? It took me all day. You want the negative feedback. And people are like, dude, I can't take it. This and that. Bullshit. See through all of that. You learn way more. Everybody wants you to get your email, fill out a survey, this and that. They're not reading the 5 stars. They don't give a fuck about the people that had a good time. They're reading the people that had a problem. That's their valuable information.
That's how they're going to grow. That's how they're going to get better.
That's what they want. And you need to get that. Kyle and I are at that same page. We're like, dude, this was on too long. This was boring. You needed more B-roll here. Why did you use that guy if he's not going to be in that video again? He's moving to New York tomorrow. No one cares. In your mind, Kyle, you were with him for 5 videos. But that's over the time span of 5 years. You need to be like current with this guy, or else
forget about it.
Yeah, like forget about it. No one that saw the first 5 videos, unless you were a diehard brewer, knows this guy's been on your channel before. So we're like kind of brutal with each other like that these days, and I think it's paid off. Not for me because I don't put out content anymore, but Kyle's Pornhub video fucking crushed, and I'm super proud of him for that. How many views does that have now? Like 200,000?
It's pretty high.
Peter, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah, I think that the skirting the line a little bit with the thumbnail too is a really good clickbait.
Totally good clickbait. And we worked on this thumbnail a little bit too. He had the skull and I don't know, 158K, and then the video after that only has 18K. But no, we talk a lot, man, and we're trying to grow our channels, make more money, get people into brewing, meet people, make more money, grow our channels, make more money,
No.
get into brewing. But no, it's like this. You got to network, man, and you got to be honest with people without like, this fucking sucked. You're a piece of shit. I'm better than you. All your shit's bullshit. My beer's better than yours. You don't get anywhere with that. But I wish you luck, Peter, in that regard, finding the fill-in for Tim, because I know it's difficult.
Yeah, for a while it's just going to be, I think, with the content side, I think it's just going to be me on the content, and then I'd rather have someone that comes in can help me brew and maybe wants to learn, be that kind of fill-in, and then I'll just focus on content, and then maybe take some of it. Well, I want to get something done, obviously, when I go to into your neck of the woods, but
We got people
maybe
coming out,
start-
man. We got people coming
yeah,
out.
maybe start doing something along that side where it's just kind of like bring my stuff to a place and get some content that's outside of the brewery, and then maybe turn that into more of a, more of a travel-y storytelling part of what I can do.
Yeah. You're coming out in a couple months. Oliaz and Gnome are coming out in a couple weeks. I'm going to steal all of Oliaz's Gnome. I'm sorry, all of Oliaz's B-roll. I'm going to steal all of Oliaz's Gnome. And then make a video on the Mexican craft beer scene.
I was like, what? Huh?
I'm also going to steal all of Oliaz's Gnome. And, live through people and put out content. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going in
I
for-
don't.
We're going in for
I
a
don't know.
West
I'm
Coast
gonna
idea.
make a YouTube channel, but like, I definitely want to get that because I got some good B-roll, and it's really cool. It was really cool visiting like these open bar scenes kind of thing, and just like they're like right in the middle of the street, and it's pretty rad.
Yeah,
That's
and
dope.
that's word of mouth,
And
man.
and that's what's cool is like they're all like worked by younger folks and stuff like that who are like starting to get into craft beer, and they're like figuring out what IPAs mean to them, what like lagers are, and things like that, like good like German beers and whatnot. And it's cool to like hear their 2 cents on it, and
Sounds like a CA.
and like I was wearing my
Sounds like a
B&B shirt, and I was handing out B&B stickers and things like that, and it was really rad to just talk with them about beers and the ones that they like. And 'cause I was reading the description of some of the beers, and I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. He's like, no, try this one. It's like, all right, cool, I'll go with your recommendation. But
Are you comfortable down there, Olias? Because I remember you saying a couple weeks ago that some of your family members aren't going to leave the resort.
yeah, I am. Like I'm not in Juarez, so like I'm okay like leaving the resort. Like
Is Juarez more action?
where like the cartels are and stuff like that. Yeah.
But is it one of those things kind of we talked about? If you stay out of trouble, trouble stays out of you? Or is there a lot of wrong place,
Yeah.
wrong time?
I mean, in Blythe the Garmin, there aren't really those places like here, kind of thing. It's just like everybody's just doing their own thing. They want to run a business, they want to get tourists in here. Like they're not trying to scare them away, kind of thing.
Duly noted. I need a Mexico trip, man. A lot easier when I lived in San Diego. Imagine that.
Also, I just realized they put ice in it. I don't.
They put ice in your beer? That better be
Yeah,
like, I thought you're not supposed to drink
No,
ice
like-
in
Really?
Mexico.
there's ice in my beer.
They think it was a michelada? A michi?
I mean, I just had a beer with like 2-3 limes beforehand, and so, but they decided to dress it and put ice in it. So
Gotcha.
whatever, it keeps it cold, so that's fine with me.
When in Rome, man. When in Rome. We got the barrages in here tonight, man. We got Chris Radiation, Jonathan Elliott, Coach chilling in the house, man. Love seeing all the green, all the regulars, man. Chris Radiation. Can we do a Mexico meetup? What up, Sunset Hound? How are you, Braj? Minnesota Fats in the house. Think beer will decrease in popularity when recreational marijuana is
Not at
legal
all.
in more states? Not even close. Different sport, different ball game, different park. Drinking this beer right now, and it's a beer from where I work.
Marijuana use will increase, of course, but I think beer will just stay the same.
Mary J. Blige. I'm gonna use the restroom, gentlemen. Hold it down. Nobody
Vapes
talk
are
shit
illegal
about me
here,
unless it's
apparently in
funny.
Mexico.
What was that? I'm
Vapes,
sorry, Alex.
like vape pens, are illegal here in Mexico.
Oh, really? What the? Fuck?
Yeah, there's like signs all over like the resort and like
Is there a
like,
reason
smoke
why?
shops and
Did
stuff
they?
like that. I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know. So, can you smoke cigarettes though?
But you can smoke cigarettes. You can smoke. Like,
Yeah,
you can
like, what
bring,
the fuck?
if you. But people are bringing their own vapes, and that's okay. But buying vapes here, not okay. Which is
They're trying to keep the
interesting.
money in house. I think
This is yeah.
Yeah,
by those classic
know.
hand rolled.
it's funny because like there's like booths set up in the resort to buy like cigars and stuff like that. It's just like pop up shops kind of thing. Like, come on, get your cigars, get your cigarettes, and they're all covered in like don't smoke propaganda like they have in Europe and kind of thing, where like there's like fucked up lungs or like people with cancer, like pictures of them on the packaging.
Maybe it's like negging. It's like a positive. It's negative, but it makes you want it more.
Not Brewing said, Alias is going to shit through a screen door for a month.
I still haven't, I haven't gotten that
Montezuma's revenge,
Yeah.
man. Chris
Yeah.
Radiation, man, with that super chat, super duper, man. Much love, Chris. Chris, talk
Yeah,
to me
good
off the
luck,
stream
man.
tonight. I want to talk to you outside of this because I don't know what your schedule's like 2 or 3 weeks ago, or maybe when Peter comes out here, we could do some bumping and grinding if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I don't see
Oh,
nothing
Peter,
wrong.
you're heading out to Knoxville?
Yeah,
He's got a 50 million mile race he's got to run in January. No, I'm just kidding. Tell him I was up.
Wait, when are you going to be in Knoxville? This year or next year?
January 14th, 2023. So
Oh,
a
nice.
couple months from now. Yeah,
Oh yeah, good stuff.
I'm excited for it.
Ollie Oz
I
is
got
your
a buddy
biggest
who lives up in
fanboy, by the way,
Nashville
Peter.
too. So, Alias, what?
He's your biggest fanboy by far.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fanboy 101.
Yeah, called me out real quick like on that.
I'm pretty sure you've talked about it like 4 times on here.
I have messaged. I have said it live
Yeah.
on this chat thing for
Yeah.
sure.
What up, Ryan Michaels? Let's fucking go hoppy hour. Let's fucking go hoppy hour, but let's fucking go Padres. Let's see what my boys
What's
are
the
doing.
score? 3-1?
3-3.
What was it?
Don't say
3-3.
that.
Oh, damn.
3-3.
Dude, this is... Padres got more hits. What's going on? Okay, they just scored 2. Trey Turner's on a sick one, man. Manny Machado has a
Damn
home
it.
run and a
End of
double.
the top.
I can't believe that people back in the day used to hit like 70 home runs. What was the steroid generation? Or
I miss steroid generation. I want that back.
no, dude, people hit 40
I don't
home runs.
miss it.
I want to see home runs hit outside of the stadium. That was
Jose
what
Canseco
got
style.
me excited about baseball. That was the coolest shit ever.
I want
Ever see the play where
bats breaking in half like every
Yeah.
other game?
Look,
like,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like beer that much.
like, okay, I get it. Like, if people want to have like an honorable league without steroids, fine.
Patrick
But
Sandy.
give me an unlimited league, like where they can do whatever the fuck they want to their bodies, and just like if they want to snort cocaine before they take a hit, fine, go ahead. I don't give a shit.
I think you're onto something.
Like,
I want to see that in the
give me
Olympics. Like,
an
how fast can they
ultimate
make
league.
people?
What's up?
Right, like,
The Olympics. I want to see
make
it
it-
there too.
yes,
Like, do whatever it has to take. Like, treat it like a car, right? Like, whatever you can put in your
yeah,
car.
run what you brung kind of thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, if we can have unlimited drag racing, like, and racing and whatnot series, like, fuck it, whatever money can buy to make your body do whatever to be better. And if you lose to someone who isn't even like that, like, you done fucked up kind of thing, you
You're
know?
done fucked up now. You done fucked up now. I like the idea of that. Like, if everybody cheats, we're not cheating, right?
Nobody's cheating.
Yeah, no one's cheating.
yeah.
Like back in the day, people had like probably the best weed, and they thought they did, but they were growing it outside, and they knew millions of different tips and tricks. And then they probably think people that grow weed inside now are like the cheaters, you know. But it's like no. Do all the cheating in the world, you know, like indoor
Right.
light, this nitrogen, bing bang, amino acid, whatever it's got to take, all this thing in pill form. Do it, shoot it in your ass, put it in a plant, whatever you have to do. And now let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah.
suck back in the day, though. Like,
Yeah.
They didn't,
was outdoor-
crossbreed to boost THC and all that other stuff. Like, it was pretty shitty, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying, though. But they probably thought it was the best, and they were probably very proud of
Oh,
it.
yeah, all right.
You could say that about
Yeah,
beer.
probably.
You could say that about beer.
Although I do think if they grew it outdoors and organically back in the day, it would still be really good. But like the brick weed, oh my gosh, it'd probably give you a headache rather than a high.
I need to bring that shit back, man. I get too baked off the stuff I was smoking in San Diego.
Yeah, because it's like fucking 30% THC. It's ridiculous. Like I don't like that stuff either. I like sativa stuff that's like 17. I can actually still get stuff done.
Actually, like function as a human being.
I'll tell you what not to do. Don't get super baked and watch the Jeffrey Dahmer special on Netflix. That's what you don't want to do. You'll just go down a weird rabbit hole of just weird shit and this and that. But other than that, smoke weed. Just don't watch the Jeffrey Dahmer special on Netflix.
While you're stoned, yeah. Don't also watch Great British Baking Show while you're stoned, because you'll like be craving nothing but cake and pastries like the whole fucking time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Chris Ratty, steroids are the crystal malt of baseball.
Steroids are the dry malt extract. It's the instant sugar.
Funny.
It's the instant. I mean, do people use steroids? And Peter, you probably dealt with this as a Division I track star. People getting busted. Is it more of it makes you faster or it makes you rehab quicker?
It's the recovery side, and that's how coaches pitch it. At least is the recovery side.
But for baseball, it's got to be it makes you way more stronger. But like Lance Armstrong used steroids to recover.
His was blood doping, so he was trying. His steroids were more about how much oxygen your blood can take,
which is recovery.
No, it was for performance. It just because at that point you're burning oxygen for fuel instead of burning anaerobically. I mean, it was recovery too, but
I do remember watching. Now you said it, a Lance Armstrong documentary, and like on the last race, they still showed his face, like not showing any fatigue. He still was like gritting his teeth, like going uphill, and they're like, nobody else is doing this. Like nobody else is like acts like they're on Adderall or nose nachos as they're going uphill on like the last leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something's fishy. Just
like you can burn if you're not breaking down your muscle fibers, you can burn cleanly and not get tired basically. So it has to do with your what's called your steady state, so the fastest you can possibly go without creating lactic acid and micro tears in your muscles and stuff like that.
No clue what that means, but I'm gonna take your word for it. Ollie us. Here's the problem we talked about earlier. The people like me and you are like, hey, just feed everybody whatever it takes. Snort the drug. Have Darryl Strawberry used to have sex in between innings. I think Lawrence Taylor did too. The problem with that though is the people that like the Baseball Hall of Fame that preserve records. Mm-hmm. You hit a homer, 10 home runs a game. People want like after you make your money, your millions and billions and zillions of dollars, you take that for granted, and they want to get like the legacy and they want into Cooperstown. And when the show's over, the party's over, and everyone looks back at you and you're like, you're not coming in. Even though most guys should be like, hey, I made $1 billion playing a kid's sport. I think that's what fucks them up.
But like you have the choice. You have the choice to be like, okay, like have the like regular honorable like MLB league, right? Mm-hmm. And have like the no fucks given league, and like
have both.
You have the choice. Yeah, have both. Like don't just trade one for the other. I think have both.
Okay.
And be like, all right.
Can we call it the no fucks given league? What's that? The NFG league?
NFG league.
NFG.
Or run what you brung. So RWD.
Aren't NFGs already a thing out there?
NFTs are.
NFTs. Oh, NFT is the new NFT.
Look, I'm gonna be honest.
We don't give a fuck in this league. We're gonna fucking snort, blow, and shoot up horse tranquilizer in our dick in between the fucking when we're in the on deck circle.
Like people will love that for the entertainment value, right? Like it's just gonna be the entertainment, right?
Sure.
Because like, have you heard of like a banana ball, like the baseball league?
Yes.
Kind of thing?
No.
Like, I was watching some of the videos. And I'm like, this is fantastic. Yep. Like this is what's going to back into baseball. Like this is entertaining.
It's working. It's definitely working.
Maybe
right?
They do the most ridiculous things, like like one time the hitter will be like, all right, how about this next at bat you change sides every pitch. So like literally he's like right-handed one pitch, then left-handed, and then goes back to right. Like they'll do different rules where like you
can't leave the batter's box. If you do, that's a strike. Like it just keeps the game moving, kind of thing. And also just like if there's a draw, then it goes to like a shootout where like one pitcher, one outfielder versus the batter. I'm like, that's fucking fantastic. That's
Just
so
a fight to the
badass.
death. All right.
Right.
One where the first baseman had to wear high heels.
Anything's a good idea as long as it's done right.
It's fucking silly, but I love it.
The drug Olympics. The weightlifter rips his arms off and didn't even feel it. I think that was a Hans and Franz thing back in the day, or a Jim Carrey thing when he was doing the In Living Color thing. Both great shows.
Oh yeah.
Both great shows. What up, Kevin Rabbi? Basketball, anybody? It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I worked at a Korean restaurant before, so I can crush some fish head soup beer.
That was for Patrick Sandy.
Might get some clicks. I always see things now and I think of clickbait. Fish head soup beer.
Well, it took the lobster beers and octopus beers forever to get any sort of traction, and now they're finally like passing the 10,000 view mark. But
You
it
getting
took
some shine
them
on those?
a little bit, not as much as I thought. When I first started the Will It Beer challenge, I thought it was going to take off way more than that.
Story of my life.
What's your favorite thing you've put in a beer? Like, that's technically not like a beer ingredient kind of thing.
Lactose,
Uh,
Sorry.
I think it's the octopus stuff. I actually made a really, really good wasabi beer. Actually, it's between the octopus sushi beer I made or it's the green chili enchilada beer.
So they like have
Green
like
chili
you
enchilada.
use octopus in it kind of thing?
Yeah, the octopus you can really taste, but there was nori, wasabi, ginger, and I did
So
a
it's
kettle
just
sour
like that
with it.
full on like umami kind of flavor
Ginger.
kicking in.
It was
with-
strangely really, really good. But it tastes like a good kettle sour with like that extra sushi flavor.
Ah, I would love to try that. Yeah.
I can watch that movie every day, by the way. Fulfilled Straw. That's a great name for a fucking anything. Fulfilled Straw. I can watch that movie every day. And I'm writing what I just said out loud, but I'm still giving him. He made me pay attention to something that was funny or clever. Fulfilled Straw. That sounds like a great place for like a shaved ice place. Daiquiri
Smoothie.
bar? Smoothie
I'd say like
place?
a smoothie bar.
What is straws going everything? Milkshakes?
Oh, but
Your milkshakes would be fun.
The Fulfilled Straw. Did you come up with that? Or did you get that from somewhere?
Okay.
Spokane.
basketball.
No, what are you drinking over there?
Elaborate metaphor.
You got to be a little bit
It's a
more.
hazy pale.
It's a hazy what?
Hazy pale. 5.4% from Vermont. Yeah, sorry.
Why are you
I
sorry?
apologize.
Yeah, we have to drink. He just double apologized. That's a 6-4-3-2 double play. Everyone's got a chug for Nomsky.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really
Fight on the
like beer
play.
that
Fight on
much.
the play.
All right, so all you guys are coming to Knoxville. You guys stoked or what?
Dude, I'm
Can't
so
wait, man.
excited.
Dude, we're
forward to
gonna,
it.
we're
I
gonna,
am so excited.
who's gonna take the couch and who's gonna take the air mattress?
I don't care. I'll sleep on the
Dude.
floor, like I said, man.
No, let's
I'll
let
sleep on the porch with the cats.
dude. I'll give you my master bedroom. I want to sleep with the cats. The bummer about the cats though is there's beavers and the other ones out here. Peter, what are they called?
Oh yeah, you sent me that snap. Like beavers
They're
were eating
what?
like the telephone poles and shit.
There's a lot of beavers. What's the other one? Groundhogs. There's
Yeah.
Querpa.
Awesome.
Who gets the couch? I don't even know if the couch.
Who gets the couch IPA?
Alias.
Have chat vote.
Are you doing a poll?
Oh yeah.
Northwest. I have heard of a beer. I have heard of a beer done with
me
yeast
reword
cultivated from a beard before, and there's other ones that
that
are much
sounds
worse than that.
disgusting.
But
I do not
yeah.
want
Oh, there was vagina
any-
beer too. So ugh.
Vagina
The
beer.
Oh.
beers, that's light work.
Yeah.
Vagina beer IPA.
like vagina crabs IPA.
That's probably the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'd rather watch Jeffrey Dahmer's thing on acid and baked out of my mind than hear that.
sour crabs goza.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Sour crabs goes.
That's su-
That's all the
Sushi
time we
beer
have.
V2.
Oh man.
Yeah, look, this is just
Shout out to Kevin Rabbi. What up? Trouble Brewing with Matt Ushman in the house, man. What's up, you sweet baby boy? Good to see you, Barrage. We got some Padre love. I feel like the Padres are going to win tonight, man. I feel like they're just going to fucking win.
Which field are they playing in? Are they home or away?
No, I think it's 2
Away
2
game. It's
1
in
2 2 1
Pakistan.
for a 5 series. But they change it every year, man. They change it every goddamn year. Northwest Small Batch Brewing in the house. No one won't even make it to the couch. Oh, he'll make it to the couch.
That's not true. That
He made it to the
I did make it to the couch.
I mean, it's honestly not going to matter. I could rip my house apart until I make it. Not rip my house apart, but I can set it up so everyone's got their own. Someone's going to have their own bedroom, and then someone's going to have the living room with the couch. But we'll all still be within like 8. Like spread your arms out, and we could all still.
Yeah, I'm easy going, man. I really don't care. It's all good.
My house is fucking simple dimples. Y'all go to the other stream that started. What's going on?
Oh damn! Everybody's
shit.
voting for Gnome to get their own room.
Oh, jeez.
Sounds pretty racist. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Should I break my fast and grab a beer? Fuck yeah. First super chat.
Who's asking?
If somebody donates $1, Peter will go chug a beer, and he's trying to lose weight for a race coming up.
I'm gonna vote you, Alias. Oh wow, it is over. Oh Jesus
Somebody
Christ.
send me a super
Dude,
chat, and
it's
whatever it
all
is, when
you,
Peter
dude.
comes into town, I will spend it all on him. I promise you that. And I think Gnome and Alias can vouch for me that I say that if somebody donates money to it, I'll save it and I'll put it aside.
Yeah, because before you came
Dude,
to
you went.
Austin, before you came to Austin, all the super chat for the last 2 or so happy hours that we were on before you came here was you used it towards our trip and stuff like that.
100%, man. That's what it's all about. I mean, I have you guys on here, and I kind of exploit you or explore you. I don't know whether you guys are trying to get, I don't know, just hang out and have a good
Just
time.
trying to hang out, man.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you guys want your, it's always good to get followers and subscribers and stuff like that, but I really feel like nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool to get them,
Yeah,
right? Someone's looking at you.
I'm very grateful for being on here because because of you guys, I
fun,
now
man.
have over 300 followers on Instagram, right?
It's fun,
We're gonna
Brush. It is fun. Yeah, Peter, you lost. We have a NWS Small Batch Brewing. That's his second one. He says, make Gina's drink. So we have $5 for when Peter comes into town. That means we're gonna go to Fulfilled Straw Smoothie Co.
Look, I'm gonna be honest.
Ooh,
I don't really
one
like
thing I
beer.
wanted to add to the whole Mexican beer thing.
Oh,
All the craft beers here,
Yeah, what's up?
all the craft beers here are no more than $4 to $5. Even for the heavy IPAs,
No
and
competition. No competition.
no competition. So you can get a double IPA for 80 pesos, which is $4 American.
Thank
I'm
you,
just
Rob
like-
Barnes.
That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
You can get
I
fucked
don't know
up for
I don't know if you
cheap.
guys
And,
looked
I
at
know
that.
Sorry.
Sorry, my bad.
beers
I'm
here are
sorry, too.
definitely on the cheap side, but still at that price point, that's fantastic.
That is a very good price point. That's a very good price point. Quick shout out to Rob Barnes too, man. NS Small Batch Brewing. NS Small Batch Brewing, what's your name? Do you have a name like Ron Barnes? Or is that what you go by? That'd be sick if your name was NS Small Batch Brewing. Some tells me it's not.
We'll find
And
out.
we got a Meso things. AK, shout out to Strider out there in Colorado, man. I see you, boy. I see you, baby. Shaking that ass.
Oh yeah, the Great Craft Beer Festival happened this past weekend, right? In Colorado.
Was that last weekend? Did I miss it again?
Well, last week I believe, yeah. GABF.
Dude, I gotta start
Yep.
fucking brewing or doing more.
Oh, which by the way,
homebrew stuff.
meanwhile picked up silver. I forgot which beer.
Oh yeah, Texas, Austin,
Yeah.
Texas. I loved Meanwhile, man.
Yeah,
But did
Meanwhile was
they
the
picked
one
up
that-
a silver
silver. I forgot which style. That's
God
gonna
damn
drive
it.
me nuts now.
I gotta put this
oh
thing
yeah.
out.
I'm
But yeah,
I
well
love
deserved.
Meanwhile.
Those guys are
that
fucking
was such
awesome.
a great brewery.
Was Meanwhile the
Yeah.
one where we had the full
With the outside stage.
Yeah,
and
it
we
was
got
with
the tour and
Sunset's
stuff.
sister. Fish gave us
Yeah.
the full fucking. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I
That
gotta
place
get
was
this
phenomenal.
goddamn video out. I gotta get this. I still gotta shoot some shit in the morning. I gotta shoot the whole manifold thing.
Get that
and see
keezer
what
video
to-
out and then get that awesome video out.
Yeah, I'll get the awesome video out after that. It's gonna be funny as shit, man. It's really.
Is it just half of the time me dancing?
Oh no, half of the time is I've got a clip in there where you're driving your car, and I feel like I'm a little kid on the roller coaster, like doing the Michael Vick experience when he's like, "You guys remember that old Nike commercial?" I don't want to.
No.
I remember that one. I do remember that one.
When
Where
the kids, he's just like, "Ah!" And he's like screaming out of a live. And in my car, I show my car. If I
commercials that the same as they should have. Like commercials
but,
back in the day were so good.
especially the Super Bowl commercials, man.
Oh,
but I think
yeah.
no. But hey, we're coming back. Like we're coming back. Like everybody got kind of sick of the whole like.
And then they got overrated, and now they're like getting like crappy, and then now they're like, oh wait, they're actually getting good again.
Like I went on, without being political or whatever, like I went on Saturday Night Live's last couple months, and they were ripping on this political side that they didn't rip on, and I was like, okay, we're kind of coming back. Like we're kind of like censoring the world and saying everyone's going to hell for something they did 20 years ago. Maybe it doesn't make the world a better place. Maybe let's just make fun of everybody as long as it's like it's above the belt. And I've just seen stuff that like now that you could never do in 2020, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy because there's a lot of bad in the world, there's a lot of good in the world, but like some things just got too tattletale 2 years ago, and it didn't make the world a better place.
Right.
Yeah. So it's good that we can kind of clown on shit again and kind of come back and make fun of everybody. This guy, that guy, him, her, both sides. As long as it's above the belt, man. Let's get more united, less divided. That's how I see it, man. That's how I see it. Everyone's getting along. The world's good.
There's some positives like scroll culture. Scroll culture where everyone's like vying for attention, and like so many people, like including the big media corporations, now have to compete with small guys like us. And now that competition for attention, I think that's what's helping.
Well, I remember, coaches were getting in trouble and all this stuff and this and that. And I remember Marshawn Lynch got in trouble. I remember Marshawn Lynch runs a football camp. He said the F word, and all these soccer moms came out and gave him shit, all the Karens. And then the coach on the Raiders got fired, and everyone thought he said like, really bad stuff. And I looked back and I looked at it. I was like, he said this guy had big lips. And I was like, well, I don't know, man. Mick Jagger has big lips. There's a lot of white people. You immediately rush and say like, hey, this guy said the worst word of all, like this and that. And you look back like, is it really that bad? Like, I don't know, man. Right. I remember football coaches when I was 5 years old to when I was 17 being like, fuck you, pussy. My fucking mom can run faster, harder than this, and fuck you. I'm going to get the next guy in. I don't give a shit if you're fucking hurt or injured. And all of a sudden, we were supposed to pretend like the world like was like not kind of like that for a little bit, and like now, looking back 30 years, could I have been like in that limelight, like, oh, my coach called me a pussy, and his mother could run faster than me, and I'm going to be worthless in life and this and that. That could have like got him fired, but that's how the real world was. Like I played sports my whole life, and there's football coaches that were like, you're a worthless fucking piece of shit. I didn't know they stacked shit that high, and they're the losers. They're high school football coaches. At the end of the day, like they're screaming at young boys half their age, and they're in their late 30s.
Uncle Rico.
Oh, Uncle Rico's, but like that, I didn't like. Like that's just kind of how it was. Oh, you hurt my feelings,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it was just like it. Pretending the world is like not a bad place and it's going to give you whatever you want all the time is not healthy for people. Like no one's ever going to deny you for a job or say something bad about you, and everything's supposed to be picture perfect, just like how you portray yourself on Instagram is very not healthy for people. There's a real world out there, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right, guys, I got to go.
Is that it?
My family for dinner.
All
right,
that's
it for me.
All right, are we going to do another beer, or is that it? What up, It's Wreck? Come on down.
No, you guys keep going. I got to go meet up
I'm
with
cool
my
either
family
way.
for dinner.
I got the Padres playing. Uncle Rico Lawnmower Beer. That's a great name. You guys want to hang out?
Nah,
Noam and Peter?
you guys hang out.
I'm probably good till for about another 40 minutes or so.
Well, we have to hang out. Peter just cracked a beer. We can't just, he can't just break.
Yeah, what are you drinking, by the way?
Yeah.
This is a coffee Suarez beer.
So you have a coffee Kolsch and a coffee what?
Black lager.
Black lager. Yeah.
Black. Oh, Schwartz beer.
All right.
Is that what is it? Coffee short spear?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Coffee, is that the
Nice.
number one thing? All right, Alias, have a good trip, man. Get home safe, huh?
Thank you. I fly
All right,
back
brother.
to Texas tomorrow. So.
All right, man. Safe travels, man. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Alias Mohammed. Come on down.
Wow.
Back off, war child.
I'm gonna lose
Yeah, probably. Will.
All right, here we go. I'm
Of
gonna go.
course.
I'm gonna go drain the main Vizzle. I'm gonna leave you guys in charge, and I'll be right back.
All right.
And when I come back, Peter, we're gonna do
I'm
an
up
NBC.
next.
We're gonna do an NBC. All right, give me
All
two.
right.
Excuse me. Excuse
Brew.
me.
What's the ABV on that? Just out of curiosity.
Oh my.
4.9.
4. Awesome.
Perfect.
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 Perfect. Something I can drink a lot of. It's gonna be light.
Yeah.
Tastes really good.
All right, here we go.
Give you a little bit of a caffeine buzz as well.
Hopefully. Going to work
Already.
out.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Hold it down, y'all.
You got it, man.
I'm gonna hit the.
Down.
Yep. Hello. I just like watched myself back 10 seconds ago trying to swat at a fly. It looked funny.
Can you see CH other than be on YouTube? Can you see him? You can't see him in Discord, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does pop up in Discord.
There's a little bit of a delay, kind of regardless.
Yeah. There was
It bothers
one
me.
time, I don't know what or how, but there was one time where the video worked for him on Discord, and since then, it's never been the case.
Dang. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's funny because I can see him I can hear him doing something, and then I have to watch it on YouTube.
Right?
Like 10 seconds
Yeah,
later,
it
I'm
is.
like,
It's yeah. I basically stopped looking at the Discord entirely, and just it does. I basically can't look at people. I just have to look at chat and just focus on the conversation. I don't know. It took a
it's
while to
kinda
get
what I'm
used to it
working.
for me.
Yeah, I got the 3 screens up. I got Discord screen, chat screen, and then the YouTube screen.
Sunset. It's not too bad. Today was actually a pretty beautiful day. It was 74 degrees, but it's probably like high 50s now. And there's no heat in here, so whatever the ambient temperature is, it is. It's a little cold. Not too bad though.
Dear guy, I'm 53. Our football coach said, "Don't drink water. You'll cramp every. You'll cramp every in the 70s." Is wrong. Oh yeah, there's some bad coaches out there. There's like a thing about coaches withholding water. Like I have to take all like the safe school stuff, and coaches like apparently used to like withhold water if you didn't perform, like even no matter how hot it is. And
Yeah, that doesn't fly anymore, or at least not around here. Like there's some kids that would pass out. It would be the best case scenario, but even worse than that. And like there's like just rules now. You can't like withhold water from little kids. I don't know what, like, are you talking about high school or like
it is high school, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Still,
coach
though.
high school. Even little kids. I mean, yeah, there's
Oh.
all sorts of things you got to go through. So I have to take because I coach club and I coach high school, and for both of those, you have to take like safe schools stuff or safe
Yeah.
sport. And that's one of the biggest things. Is like, hey, you can't withhold water from people. Apparently, it was a thing.
Right.
Which is-
Yeah, it seems obvious now, but my God, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. People were like fucking cutthroat back in the day.
Yeah, and there's a one of the other things that they make a point of is you can't you can't have like pain desensitizing parts of practice. So apparently, like it was a thing that coaches would like make all the athletes in football, I'm guessing, like take hits so
Yeah,
they get
build
used
up
to it.
tolerance or something.
Exactly.
Jesus
Like now
Christ.
you can't do that anymore, which makes sense. It's got to happen in the game. Get that game time.
Right? Yeah. Well,
Adrenaline.
even obviously this is different level, but in the NFL, concussions happen at practice. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't have to. You shouldn't be going out of your way to take risks like that. Like it's gonna happen naturally.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like go out of your way to try and like cause injuries.
You just got to play more and learn how to defend yourself against that stuff or be safe with that stuff instead of, just taking it.
All right. Today for practice, kids, we're gonna line up and we're gonna run as fast as we can and crush our teammate. We're gonna just bury him into the ground.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this, Coach?
What I walk into? What are we talking about?
You're used to it. How good coaches used to be and still are, obviously. It's a thing right now that I have to take a bunch of like safe schools or safe sports kind of programs to teach me how to be a good coach, which is stupid because I'm a cross country coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of a lot of it's like, yeah, you can no longer withhold water during practice. You can no longer do like pain desensitizing practices where you make your athletes take hits so that they get used to it.
As long as you're not like saying shit that's racist or homophobic or like, anti-Semitic or, gender shit like that, fucking say whatever you want. But also, I would get fired if I was a coach in 5 minutes or if I was the president. It just wouldn't work.
I'd vote for you for president.
I'll tell you what I
really
do.
not good at this.
I'm not going to tell you what I do. I would either make colleges free or get rid of it, but I'm going to leave it at that because there's way too much student debt in the world. There's way too much goddamn student debt. But I got a cerveza here right now, and I wish I had some salt with it. I'll wait till Noam comes back. But that was super cool that Alias came out on a family vacation and still posted up in the fucking lobby bar.
That is dope.
Yeah, what were you saying about coaching now? Like you have to kind of
they like safe sport programs all the time.
Yeah,
and a lot of it's just like a lot of it. I mean, there's some good things like bloodborne pathogens or like how to find a defibrillator if somebody passes out or whatever. But there's also like a bunch of stuff that just is for, hey, don't be a shitty football coach.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. And you know what? We complain about cancel culture and this and that or whatever, like how soft the world is, but there's a lot of good that comes with it, man. There really is. And I remember being a 15-year-old kid, first time I got fired from a job when I was 15 at a deli. It was this Arabian family, and they were literally like, you have a piece of shit for a brain? Have you ever worked a job before? Like this, not like you have to take classes now. Like you can't say that to kids anymore. It's just a different time. It's a different generation from the mid 90s, late 90s to what it is now. Times sped up through technology, this and that, way faster at any point in time. Nowhere at any point in time than now. Like people used to be fucking brutal. And I think that's just fair to say.
Yeah, I get in trouble for like weird little things now, like letting like my athletes have unsupervised horseplay, I guess. I like to let kids be kids. I don't censor myself too much. Like I said, ass today, and I was like, oh, should I say ass? And
in front of your kids, you said ass.
Yeah, one of my kids was like, yeah, you definitely should not say ass. The ass word is, did the kid thing where they're high schoolers, they know what.
Right,
I'm not
how to work
teaching them anything new.
Yeah,
like it's stupid.
But can you flip the script and be like, ass is like a donkey? I meant donkey, a metaphor for like, don't be a donkey, don't be a shitty horse.
No,
I just said shitty.
I was telling the story of how I was raising
again.
somebody else when I was in college, and he asked if I kicked this kid's ass, and I was like, yeah, I kicked his ass. Well, he asked if I beat him, and I was like, yeah, I kicked his ass. I was like, oh, I mean, whatever I'm supposed to say. He's like, yeah, you kicked his ass. All right.
It's kind of a weird world we live in where we have safer things to say things that mean the exact same thing, but like you get away with it if you say it metaphorically now. I beat this kid's bottom. I beat this kid's bottoms. I stood up for myself and I sucker punched him and I beat his bottom. And now I'm off the hook. I beat him in his little tush. Now I'm off the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I think that, and we've talked about this, Peter, you have 3 boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you telling me kind of like, it's kind of good to get some grit, kind of good for them to be picked on and get some bullied, and Chris Rock has a joke. He's like, one of these days, these kids that gets picked on, he's going to, invent the cure for cancer. He's going to fire it up and be like, hey, I'm going to be so much better than these people that I grew up with, that I'm going to change the world. And I think that's a lot of people with, good success stories that write books or this and that. Genus Peter needs another beer. We got Knothead Brewing in the house, man. First time we've seen Link tonight. That's the N64 Ocarina of Time. What are you drinking over there, Noam?
Chocolate peanut butter cup porter.
Ooh, sounds boozy. That's
about 5.8, I think.
Oh, that's it?
Double check.
Yeah,
5.8.
Usually those beers are like Imperials.
Yeah.
How do we chalk up Imperials these days? Where does it go from double to triple and Imperial? I just figure everything over 8% is a double. What's a triple? What does Imperial mean now?
I would say, well, I guess technically IPA is like 7.6 and above, but
is it double?
I would say, technically, but I would say, my gauge is the same as yours. Like 8% is like where double range is, and for me, a triple would be like 10% and above, like in terms of IPA at least.
Yeah, and you're right, because there's kind of that weird thing when you're buying something. If you see something that's 99 cents, you're like, oh, it's less than $1, right? If you see something that's 7.8%, you're like, well, at least it's not 8. Well, it's a lot closer to 8 than it is 7.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Pretty much the same thing.
yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. And it's like that. You know, it's like if I see something online that's like, oh, $9.99, I'll buy that T-shirt. Oh, but if it's $10.75, I'm like, dude, I don't know, man, I don't know. It's just the power of the clickbait, the psychology. You know. What do we got in there? What up, Luke? What up, Luke? We got the fucking English barrage in the house, man. We got Northwest Small Batch Brewing. We got Knothead just threw us a $20. Peter needs another beer. I'm with him, man. I'm with him. You could take a cheat day, right, Peter, once a week? Oh, hey now. Is that a peanut butter stout? Or is that the coffee
Shores.
Dark lager?
Coffee dark lager. I'm gonna go with go to seltzer after that one. But yeah.
So what do you tell people at a brewery that a lot of people, coffee is a big selling word, 100%. We have one at the brewery that sells a ton. It's an 8% beer that's 10 ounces that we sell for $8, which is one of our most expensive beers. And I don't legally have to tell them this, but I want to let them know there's cold brew in that, and it gets me wired. Do you think it's like a 2-in-1, like you're getting a delicious beer and cold brew that's very expensive? You know, go to any college coffee shop, cold brew is like, even in Knoxville, about $6.
I got asked that like once if it's got like caffeine in it, and that's about the only, like, the coffee doesn't get brought up too much when people come and ask for it. The only time that somebody asked if it had caffeine in it was there was somebody who is, you know, abstaining from caffeine, and so they couldn't drink it. But
Is there a thing like that? Like, I'm sure you get a lot of what I get when people ask about the parts per million for celiacs. They're like, hey, which of your beers doesn't have gluten in it? I'm like, well, they all do, but they're gluten reduced, right? It's a parts per million thing. The key to pollution, the solution to pollution is dilution.
yeah,
I love that quote.
The thing that I'll respond is there are certain beers that are gluten reduced, or certain beers that have a low enough level of gluten that I know about, that I can basically just say, if this will do something to you, then you shouldn't be here, because we're also a homebrew supply store, which means we're milling grain all the time, and there's grain dust everywhere here.
Sure, it's almost impossible. Yeah.
If this is going to trigger you, you probably just shouldn't be in this room.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that go into breweries that shouldn't come into breweries to begin with. You know, people that hate all of our beers and just ask us, like, why don't we sell like something else? I'm like, because it's a brewery and you probably shouldn't be here. That's my short answer, but it happens a lot, especially in California when we didn't have bourbon and wine and vodka and Pinot Grigio and this and that. Can you sell Pinot Grigio and red wine at your brewery in Spokane? You can?
Yeah, I've got two wines on tap. I've got a red and a white.
Does it sell?
No.
You don't get too many like middle-aged women that get dragged in there, because that's generally like the target audience for that, and we sell a lot of it.
We do for a while. Mesa Things asked before if Logan's ever going to come back. No, but not for bad reasons. No, Logan, I would love to do some video stuff with him, not in the beer space, but he just doesn't want to be in the beer part of YouTube anymore. So
is he
dorsal fishing? Check him out there.
Is Logan? He's got to be about 2 years sober now. Like, congratulations to him on his sobriety, and I mean that, man. I got sober people in my family, and I fucking support the shit out of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Good for Logan, man. So his kid's what, like 2 or 3 years old, ish?
He's got a 5-year-old going into kindergarten, and then he's got a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I follow his YouTube channel. He's catching fish. He's doing this and that, and more power to the guy, man. Shout out to Logan, and you know, sometimes life and drinking and this and that, and I think about it from time to time. And I never want to stop drinking. I never want to stop partying, but I have to put myself in positions where I'm not getting in trouble, or I'm not burning bridges, or I'm not pissing my friends and loved ones off. And a lot of people do. And if I did, I'd probably get sober. So whatever, man. People live their lives.
One of the reasons I put myself in the coaching world is because I want to be in cultures that, you know, have as much positive as, not that brewing's not positive.
No,
but you need the positive, get healthy part of your culture and lifestyle. Yeah. And then that balances out the fact that you get to be creative and make beer, you know, well, for me, for a living. But
yeah, and Peter, I think we see it. You know, I'm a beer tender now that pours like a couple Boilermakers and a couple glasses of Pinot Grigio and this and that. But like, you see alcohol, like the best and the worst. You know, there's guys that come in that are passionate and they want to get better at brewing. And then there's 55-year-old guys that are 100 pounds overweight that come in at 7 in the morning and they want to drink 9% beers, and they're a Mug Club member, and you're just like, it's not what it's about for me. I could never do this. Be. What? No. And but whether it's my establishment or you go to Chili's or Applebee's, there's guys in there at 7 in the morning, and maybe they're having the time of their lives, and that's the world that they know, and they're retired and they get a pension and they have a good handle on it. But it's not something I'm stoked on, you know, as a person.
Yeah, you gotta balance. Beer is more enjoyable if you can also enjoy other things, in my mind.
100%, man. And I always felt that beer, and even cigarettes, I'm smoking cigarettes again, but like beer really goes great with construction, DIY stuff, stress, getting over that stress, finding the solution. Beer, fatty food, meat, hamburgers, like all taste better. And it's like only something like the working man can experience, you know?
Nice sense.
If I'm finishing like a long work day, like I've had days that I've gotten here as early as like 2-3 in the morning to start brewing, and then I've got to go from this work to, you know, more work somewhere else, and like I won't finish until like 7. You know what? Beer just sounds the best after a day like that. Like I just need.
Which is because you earned it. It's because you earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you wake up and I just start drinking, it's like I better be on like a bachelor party or people are in town or something. But like I would never
in
do that.
Austin.
In Austin, yeah. But like beer tastes the best when you are like sweating your ass off, digging a trench, or you finally broke your back to get that YouTube video out, and you drink a beer, like, dude, this is what it's fucking all about, man. This is what you got you got that paycheck.
That's a lid knot.
Yeah, you paid off that credit card. No, I'm like, I just threw $500 on my last credit card. I got it off. Like, you know, those little glimpses of like being proud of yourself, where like those, you know, 3-4 beers are just like fireworks, man. But you got to earn your beer, man. You got to earn your beer.
Yeah, there's been days where I've like woken up and I've started drinking early. When I do that, usually though, I just feel like I feel so like wasted, not wasted like in drunk in a general sense, but I feel like I've wasted something by the middle of the day.
Sure.
And I'm like, I need to like take a nap and reset, and like so I can get fired up and do something, like accomplish something, or I just need to like, you know, go out and be active. And for me, it's like getting outside just helps a ton. But
yeah, I think we're kind of on the same page. We've talked about this, that running cures everything. And here's my dad. He's gonna say you're fucking out of. That means something just happened that was good. Can anybody give me an update?
Oh, he's watching the game.
Yeah, and my dad was always like that. Like my dad never had a problem with alcohol. I definitely drink way more than my dad did. Maybe he had boozed way too much in his 20s or 30s before I was around. But I love the way my dad drank. Like just put in 40 hours, mow your lawn, teach all the sports, and then have like 2 or 3 beers at the end of the night, wake up, do the same thing. Never saw him drunk. Not really. Never drank to get drunk. Just like fucking, you know, had it down like James Bond, you know, like shaken or stirred. And when you drank it, you're like, this is what it's about. Like, I get it. Nectar of the god shit. But, you know, you're around it, you know, the nightlife or the beer life or this and that, you see it. And there's a reality behind it, you know, and that's just the way it goes. It's just a Darwinism thing. You see enough people drink alcohol, like not everyone's going to make it till they're 80. And you can say that about eating, you know, cheeseburgers or smoking a pack of cigarettes a day or getting too baked or whatever or this and that. But it's kind of all moderation.
But yeah, at the end of the world, it's not different than like sugar. Like people who drink soda, I would say I would take most, on average, people who drink beer, even if they get too into it, over people who drink soda, you know, just for the overall health part of it. Because people who drink soda, they're bought. You can see people who drank soda since they were like 10 to 25 in
Yeah.
excess, and they look like they've aged, an extra 10 years in that time frame.
Yeah. I know a guy who's actually sober, and he goes into Taco Bell and spends $20, and he fills up one of those plastic cups. It's like a 40 ounce. He'll drink it there, and then when he leaves, he fills it up again. And he's a self-inflicted like type 2 diabetic guy. But hey man, you can't keep a tab on everybody. You got to work with what you have and figure your life out. And I don't have any kids. I can't really relate to you in that regard. I can't relate to you at all. But I love beer. I love the celebration vibe of it. I love the camaraderie of beer. I really do. It's not like we're drinking whiskey or volunteers or Boilermakers or this and that. I really believe in beer. And I think you really have to earn it. And I think that starts with just putting in an 8-hour day. I really think it does.
Yeah.
We're getting so deep about beer right now. I fucking love it. What up, Nick Smith?
I do have a question for Peter, which I've been meaning to ask for
Sure.
quite a long time, but every time he's on, it just slips my mind.
No,
you
dude.
know?
Yeah.
100%.
So, when it comes to, in specific, Brett beers, like whether usually when it's like a blend, with saison yeast with Brett as well. What I tried to look into ways to
beer sucks, by
bring
the way.
starch. Beer sucks. I've been trying to look for ways to bring starch into like the fermentation part, like through the mash, through the boil, and even on like Milk the Funk. The best recommendation I could find was they put like some flaked oats in a mesh bag and put it in the boil and then pull it out at the end, which sounds like the wrong approach to me. So I was trying to think of like ways, and I came up with like approach it the same way you would like top mash dark grains. At mash out, you would think like the enzymes are denatured. So add like top mash basically with like some flaked oats at mash out. Do you think that would be enough to bring starches into like the kind of the end product, like the fermentation side, or no? Like, because I do research the whole time as well.
So yes, but not in the most efficient way, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because some of the starches that you want
Straight out from the
aren't-
mash, probably.
well,
Sorry.
the biggest things are they're not quickly soluble. So solubility has two different factors to it: temperature and pH. And then also I guess three. So temperature, pH, and time. And some of the starches that you want with top mashing, the reason that works for dark grains and crystal grains is because the things that you're getting out those are sugars, very simple, very small molecules that dissolve super quickly, and the starches you won't. So
Okay.
if you did that, almost, I would say bring your mash temperature up super high, so like 180, 185, so no enzymes are going to be active. And then when you do it, I would also just recommend stirring to get like a pseudo turbid mash effect. And then you'd probably get more than, and then you do that for 20 minutes. So like have them in there for a long amount of time, stir everything up, and then just get all the shit in your boil, just everything.
And that's not going to bring like any astringent flavors, or like how's that going to work? No.
Your proteins are gonna, if you're doing a Brett beer, especially if you're aging it, your proteins are gonna settle out. They're not gonna end up in your final thing. And by the way, so the tannins, the thing that give astringency, tannins over time, especially with long-term aging, especially with what you have going in there, they can do one of two things. They can combine with molecules similar to how vanillins do, and they can create more complex, like deep, sweet flavors, or they can combine with bigger molecules that make them precipitate out. So tannins, the astringent molecules, can also precipitate.
All right. So, if I like, how do you have any recommendations on ways to add starches, like basically give like a food source for Brett long term, or?
I just change my grist. So for me, it's always like if I really want something like that, it's gonna be like 30 to 40%. I love oat malt for that. But yeah, I can get my grist up to 30-40%, kind of like I do with hazies, but with a different intention.
I've never
or
seen
you can
grist for
turbid-
grain in a
turbid
YouTube
mashed.
video. Sorry.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to I know very little about mixed firm, even though I love those beers, and like, as a matter of fact, like the last 4 beers I've brewed are like long-term projects. That's why I don't have like beer of my own ready to drink. But so I'm trying to kind of learn more about that process and how to make better beers in that style. And there's not many resources. You basically have to like learn by doing, which is fine by me. But I figured like you're the person to talk to, so. I finally remember because I bottled and kegged one of those beers today, so that's why it's like fresh in my mind. And then CH told me you were going to be on tonight, so I was like, all right, I got to make sure I ask him this. But all right, well,
have you tried a turbid mash before? Is your end goal more Brett flavor, or is your end goal so these are long-term projects, right? Like long aging?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't found getting the aroma a problem. Like all my beers are like super funky smelling. I don't know, just like trying to hone things down and make things even better. I don't know. I mean, I'm somewhat happy with like the result, but I'm just I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I'm literally just like learning by doing. Because the resource, like Milk the Funk, is like it's a good resource and all, but I don't know. It's like
Milk the Funk airs on the B side instead of the practical side. There's a lot of people that done a lot of research to brew, 5 to 10 beers. So that's kind of where I kind of play that middle ground where I've done less research but brewed a lot more beer.
Right. Okay. So just try shit and just keep doing what I'm doing, basically.
Pretty much. Try doing nothing different than just doing like 30 to 40% of a heavy adjunct grist. Again, I love oat malt, but things like flaked wheat, even just doing malted wheat, malted rye will do something. But try just a heavy adjunct grist next time and see what happens.
That oat malt, is that malted? I know it sounds. I don't know if that's a dumb question or not, but
it is malted. Yes.
Okay.
It's self converting, but not to the level of like even like a Munich barley, because oat has so few enzymes compared to like barley. So, but it is malted.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure. All right. Well, anyways, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. We all still here?
Yeah.
What do you guys say? One more.
Yeah, that was self-serving. I apologize.
One more beer. No, I'm just apologize. We have one more beer, and after this, I have to watch the Padres game. I have to watch the Padres game. I got some love from Will. Much love, Will. Cheers, you brunch. I've got like 55 more thousand beers in my fridge, but I'm gonna do one more here, and then I got to go watch the game, man. I'm sorry. I'm like Gnome when it comes down to the Boston Red Sox times 10. I think.
Unfortunately, the Red Sox suck.
Sometimes that's good though, Gnome. I wish the Padres sometimes did suck, and the Chargers. I don't really care about the Chargers anymore.
So they don't let you down in the playoffs? Huh.
It just like controls your emotions. You spend money at the bar and it takes up 4 hours of your time. It's like I could have edited, I could have built some more shit. But it's all good, man. That's what being passionate's all about. But I have a question for Peter after this as well, and I think I already know the answer, or anybody in the chat. But a Gnome has a chest freezer with. Does everything fit in there? Like, can your regulator and all that shit fit in there without having a draft system? You just have the little picnic taps with 8-foot beer line with the.
What do you mean by regulator? The CO2 regulator?
Yeah, CO2 regulator.
Yeah,
regulator. Yeah. Everything fits in there. Okay. What up, John McLaughlin? Barrage is back. But I was like looking at, I've always done shit with liquid nails and just used Gorilla Glue or something at the bottom. But I tried to use something different today and it was whatever. At the end of the day, I think it's really kind of all the same. Zach Pearson, man, he's still in here. Thank you for that fucking super chat. But I just caked it fucking on today. And at the end of the day, I don't think it matters if it's Gorilla Glue or epoxy or super glue or whatever I bought. But I am trying to write a video, and maybe if 5 or 10 or 20,000 people see this video and you're putting it out on the internet, you might want to know what you're talking about, especially if it's like something that's expensive that you're vouching for. And this wasn't. So maybe Peter knows something that I don't. But I don't know. I think I'm good with this question with or without the answer. But unless someone knows something, real gnarly, where fucking chew up gum and then put it down there and then put your collar on there. I don't know. But anyway, as Peter comes back and I just hyped up that question too much, I'm going to take a piss and I'll be right back. I'll be back.
Me too. Wait, what? Pretty well known. Nicholas Mellon.
It's just I don't know. I don't even know who's here because it's like 10-second delay.
It's me. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh Jesus! There we go. He's got a question ready for you. I already forgot what it was.
Anyone use the Last Straw or Blickman beer gun for bottling? No.
I do have a Blickman beer gun. I don't use it all that often, to be honest. I hate bottling. Just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I'll just bottle off a tap with a extender tube. Realistically, it works about the same as a beer gun.
What I used today was like some really kind of piece of crap Chinese made. Like it's a shaft basically with the little needle thing. So once you like
You're talking
press
about
down
Jeffrey Dahmer again? What's going on?
Yeah, of course, man.
Oh, okay.
Talking about shafts and needles.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
But it did the trick actually. It worked pretty damn well.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Nice.
I don't know. And it's all stainless, so you can easily like disassemble it and just like boil the shit out of it.
I'm on beer number 4. Nice. How many beers are you guys on? I've had
3.
Okay, you've got 3. I've had a rice lager.
Taking it easy tonight.
A West Coast IPA. Should we not take it easy?
No. I'm like comparatively to the previous times I've been on here. I'm taking it easy. Normally I'm like I'm like leaning against
No. We're chilling.
Fridge.
We're chilling like villains on penicillins. Bottling sucks. Can't wait to start kegging.
Oh, so what was your question for Peter?
I was going to ask you about adhesives, like what you guys use to connect shit to shit. I built a Kegerator keezer today. I'm sorry. And I bought this new thing I haven't seen before. But back in the day, I used to just use liquid nails, which is the same shit. Don't think of nails. It's just like Gorilla Glue or epoxy or what's the other one? I don't think there's a right or wrong unless you know something that I do not for a Homebrew for Life video, Peter, because it's very save money, DIY, most important, easily accessible. Home Depot, Amazon. If I can't get it at Home Depot or Amazon, I'm not going to talk about it.
Liquid nails are you talking about for mounting your gas manifold, or what do you mean?
Like a collar, like your 2x6 that's going to go on a chest freezer.
Oh yeah, so
it's all the same. Or do you know something that I don't?
We've done 2 different boards, and so we made like a collar that goes right on top, and then an outside collar that's just slightly smaller than the actual diameter. Like it's about the same size as the actual diameter of the fridge.
Yeah.
So what it does is the whole thing can slide on and off. Is what that does.
Do you know what adhesive you vouched for though? Because some of them's like $6 for one of those little 10-ounce caulking guns. Some of them are like $20.
Oh, for adhesives? No, we didn't use adhesives when we did ours. We just did the collar.
They're all the fucking same, man. They're all the fucking same. Padres just scored. Fulfilled dream. Shit. Fulfilled straw. Fulfill the dream with fulfilled straws, man. Much love, Braj. Good luck to the Padres. +1 for the Bravos Padres. Thank you, Fulfilled straws. Just for that, I'm going to crack a beer. All right, here's beer number 5.
Not had asked any expert tips for seltzers. Yes, complex nutrient schedule, and I like to use French Saison yeast.
I got a weird beer right here.
Yeah, French Saison's awesome.
Hey, here's the thing.
A fucking powerhouse.
Noam's coming into town in like 10 days. Peter's coming into town in like 2 months. But when you guys get here, we're going to drink this beer. And I feel like this beer is the next, maybe not the brand, but I think the style is going to take the fuck off. Especially
Sake Rice Lager?
No, the Mountain Water Citrus Splash. It's like Pilsner, seltzer. But I feel like if they put it in one of those little Red Bull cans, those little like small little Truly or what's the other one called? White Claw cans, it'd be way more popular. I want you guys to try this so bad.
I'm excited for it. I'm down.
Yeah, and I can't say it. Like they called me out when I first started working or pouring beer again. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like a Pilsner, kind of like a hard seltzer combined. It grossed people out. So they're like, no. How about this? People are like, hey, what's your mountain water? What's the next question you say? Do you like hard seltzers? They say yes. I pour them that beer. Never had one complaint. They love it to death. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, you know?
Yeah, you got to sell it for sure.
I don't sell shit, man. I just show up and just drink tasters and bullshit with people all day. That's all I really do. I need W-2 money. I need that money, man. I need that W-2 money. I got the lump sum. I got the good credit score. They want the W-2 money.
Nithead's got a question for you, Peter.
Look at that.
Elaborate on nutrient schedule. For me, it's a combination of fermento and DAP over, upon yeast pitch and then about 36 hours later.
Peter, I'm going to go back to the first time you came on. It was the thing that cracked me up the most because Peter and I, we have YouTube channels, and at the end of the day, we teach people how to make beer online, you know, and at the end of the day, people can't taste our beer. It just kind of comes down to people thinking we're bullshit or not, and I think we're both reliable sources, but I want to go back to this answer or this question. Do you remember this from the first time you came on, back when I lived in Carlsbad, San Diego?
Maybe. What was the question?
If somebody's out of Crystal 60, Caramel Crystal 60, for those who do not know, caramel and crystal are the same thing. I didn't know that until like a year I started brewing. If somebody's out of Caramel 60, what would you recommend? And I had the perfect answer after this, and it was like, I mean, in my mind, in the Homebrew for Life way versus the Genus Brewing way, what would you recommend to somebody who's out of Crystal 60?
Quit brewing.
No, what?
What?
I think he said quit brewing.
No. What would you recommend? Would you recommend Golden Promise? Like, where would you go from here?
Oh, so I always recommend for crystal malts either Cara Munich, something that's less crystalline, or something like Special X, but use a small portion of it, like half the same volume, but with Special X.
Do you remember my answer?
I don't.
I said buy half Crystal 40 and half Crystal 80 and mix it together, and you're off Crystal 60, and people started laughing. We just I don't know, man. One was in the kiln for 20 more minutes than the other, and I thought that's how it works in my mind.
But the thing is, it's okay being wrong, and as long
There's
as
no
you're,
wrong.
you're bringing
There's
up
no
again,
wrong. There's no wrong.
fair enough. But you know what I mean, like when you're not embarrassed by like saying something. So we all say dumb shit from time to time. It's all good.
Nobody said dumb shit at all. It's just a way that like I take in information versus Peter.
Okay.
Peter has a book on it, and I have like the 10-second elevator speech all the time. And I think that's a very cool comparative and contrast thing between Genus and Homebrew for Life. Like I just have to be shot in the dark, bullet to the head, this and that.
At the end of the day, both get the job done, and that's the thing. It's like people want to go to bat for like ideas that like realistically doesn't matter. They're both going to make good beer. If you're a good brewer, they're both going to make good beer.
And Peter, I used to think about this because I was like, dude, if I don't have this much and this and that, and I don't have exactly a pound or a quarter ounce of flame out and this and that, I used to think it would ruin the whole recipe. But it's like you literally have to look at brewing the same way you look at cooking. When you're cooking, you're like, hey, do I use olive oil or butter? Put it on the pan. Okay, let's just make it. Do I use like 2.5 eggs or 2 and 1? It's like once you start doing it, you're kind of like, I'm not going to look at like beersmiths so much or read so many books. I'm just going to kind of like throw it together and see what happens. But back in the day, I was like, I have to have 6 gallons of spring water, like this and that. And I was like, no, if you're a little bit less, it's going to be a little bit more saturated. It's going to be a little bit more high ABV. If you're a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit diluted. But back in the day, you're like, you have to do this. It's like, whoever learned how to make an omelet the way you learned how to make beer? Nobody. Your dad was just like, hey, stir it together. And like, you know what? It was fucking delicious. It was, hey, hit it with a little hot sauce, a little pepper, a little Heinz ketchup. We'll call it even. You're like, damn. And people actually like sell books on this like omelet recipe, like that's kind of brewing once you've done it enough.
Yeah, one of the things that the longer I get into being a homebrew supply store owner, the more I try to do is actively trying to break people up. Because there's even today, because we get a lot of new brewers coming in, like hundreds per year. And so many of them still come in with that mindset that's like, I've got this recipe, I've got to follow this, you have this, and usually I do carry a lot of stuff, but I'm like, I try to break them of that idea that the recipe is what matters so early on. And the longer I've owned a homebrew store, the more I try to actively like just break their way of thinking. And I've come up with a lot of different tricks to like how to like just tell people, don't focus on the recipe.
Wrong malt, tell them later.
Yeah. I wish it was that easy.
You want a chocolate malt? I'll give you brown malt, bitch.
Did you still make good beer? Yeah. Okay. That's for different reasons.
I have a metaphor.
Still turned out good, right?
So
lit.
I pour beer for a living. That's what I do. I pour beer outside of Homebrew for Life. Homebrew for Life makes nothing these days. I'm not selling merch. I'm not. Homebrew for Life is the happy hour. Like the donations I just got, Peter. You know what ad revenue is. It's like it's like $300 a month if you're not putting out content, or like $1,000 a month if you like break your fucking back, which really comes out to nothing. Like way less than minimum wage. I pour beer. And I know these two guys. One of the guys takes his job way too fucking serious. What up, Jeff Curtis? Jeff Curtis in the house, man, making that avocado ass booty bangle. Just became a member for 4 months. Peter, check this out. I've got a dude who loves hearing himself talk. I really hope he's not in here. I'm not going to say his name. And people are like, hey, like, tell me about this Brett beer. Tell me about this pink lemonade sour. And he'll be like, well, it's very approachable. We use like this and that. He doesn't know about homebrewing. He doesn't know about two-row. He doesn't know about base malts. He doesn't know about Maris Otter. He doesn't know about lava bonds or restaurant. He doesn't know anything. He just knows like the Cicerone words or the sommelier words. Like, oh, it's on the tip of the tongue and florally and and earthy and all this. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But he can talk customer service beer. And then there's a guy that doesn't say a word that I work with, who I love even more. He doesn't say one fucking word. And people come in, they're like, hey, tell me about like your Brettanomyces bread or your simple bread or your Vietnam coffee stout. And he'll just never say a word, and he pours them a little splash, and he gives it to him. The guy that doesn't talk sells more beer. Because you can talk about beer all day. We could talk about this omelet. We could talk about this and that and the whatever. You have to taste it to really know, like, and your tongue to brain can kind of put it into words, but sometimes it can't. But you like it or don't like it without putting it into words. And there's some, like the guy that loves hearing himself talk can write a book on this. It's not going to sell any more of that beer style. And this guy was almost
make that a whole video by itself, by the way, because that's exactly what I do.
That's exactly a viral TikTok or whatever, or a 1 minute YouTube bit. Just like this guy's like, hey, like this is earthy and earthy, and this comes down. It's like the sulfic lactic acid, and this and that. The customer's like, what? Like what? And this one guy's like, the other guy's like, I'm not a car insurance salesman. I'm not a salesman. It's beer. I'm going to pour you a splash. And that's the best way you're going to know whether you do not like it or like it. And I was like, I need to write a sketch comedy about Nick and Max. And I just fucking said their two names.
Oh, which one is which, though? I bet you Max is the guy. Max is the talker. Max is the talker for sure.
Max is a different breed. Max is a different breed, man. I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that.
So that I've like over the course of Genus being a thing, like I've had to, especially during COVID, I've had a ton of different times where I've had to work another job to make sure that I can put money into here or like pay for my family to be a family, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of those have been like beer pouring, beer tending, bartender. I'm a pretty good bartender too, so I know the alcohol side pretty well.
Yeah.
But I worked at a lot of beer bars because that seems to be the easiest thing for me to get hired on in those times.
Okay.
But it's funny because I feel like I'll be next to those people that you're talking about that have the pretension, that have I need to talk about beer.
Right.
And when I'm working at these places, I'm the guy that doesn't say a word.
I'm both. You're right. There's a time and a place for everything. I've been on both sides too. Yeah.
I have to shut up in those places in my mind, because I'll have like especially if it's not like a brewery, or if they know they're not talking, if they don't know they're talking to an actual brewer or somebody who's, I've also done the Cicerone thing and all that stuff, and I was a certified beer judge, and so I've got the history, I've got this, the background. But there's so many guys who will like come up and or be with their family or with their wife or somebody they're trying to impress, and they'll try to talk down on my knowledge of beer, and I'm just the kind of guy that just I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna let it happen.
No,
doesn't really matter to me.
And that's why I wish I would do more blind taste contests, because it's really the most humbling thing of all time. Because whether it's my dad or my stepmom or my mom that swears by like the Maker's Mark and the 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, this and that, when you put it into a blind taste contest, that's really, I think, it's the most humbling thing, and it's also the best education. We can talk about this and that, single cab vineyard from Rutherford Hillside, from Napa, from 1970, and the family was around before the Depression, and they had enough money from olive oil to stick around. Okay, can I try a little splash to see if I fucking like it? So it's just kind of different, and some things sell and work, and some things are like, oh, you literally just told me that Brettanomyces banana this and that was like the best beer here, and I didn't try a splash, and you gave me a 10-ounce pour. A lot of people come back and they're like, you know what, I didn't like this. I didn't like this. And I'm like, yeah, because the guy kind of, hyped it up too much because we're on the last keg and we're supposed to push it. But the guy that didn't say a word never pushed this Brettanomyces beer. And Brettanomyces, Noam and Peter, it's a delicious beer. It is a very, very, very niche homebrewing beer.
Only for certain people, for sure.
Only for certain people. It is a half-ass sour that tastes like Belgian. It's like half-ass Belgian yeast and half-ass sour in a beer that looks like Coors Light to me. That's how I look at Brett beers, Brettanomyces beers. And for some people, like Kyle from Clyhammer came in to my work. He was in town 2 weeks ago, buying a windshield for one of his like fucking giant vans. He came out to Knoxville to get it. We hung out all day. We went to Highwire where I worked, and he's like, I got to try that Brett beer. I'm like, dude, it's our least selling beer. And I poured him a 10-ounce. He was like, that's the best Brett I've had in my entire life. And I was like, do you drink sours? He was like, no. I said, did you drink Belgians? He was like, no. He really knew what a Brett beer was, and he said he loved that beer. That's not a universal beer. That's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a universal. It's a homebrewers beer. It's the underground skateboarders comedians beer. No,
That's a hilarious way of putting it.
Too soon. Yeah.
Oh my
I don't
god.
know.
Brett beers I love Brett beers too. I think that Brett beers are underappreciated art. I think a lot of people do them shitty. I think decent. So Brett beers are like the hazy of the people who want to like pretend they know about beer. But I think a lot of people do them shitty. A handful of people do them passively because Brett just kind of tastes good when you do it. And then there's a few people that do it really, really well. And that's kind of how I view hazies too, because I think everyone knows about hazies. That's the difference between hazies and Brett. But
Yeah.
a lot of people do it shitty. A handful of people do it pretty passively. And then a few people do it really well.
Exceptionally well, yeah.
I think it's a homebrewer's beer though. I think that if you actually put money into it, I don't care if you're Budweiser, Coors, Stone, or whatever, like you're gonna lose money on it. And that guy that comes in like Kyle that loves Brett beers, is it worth it to make a 5-barrel batch and ship it to 11 different tasting rooms just so like one guy can like it? Like, no, it's not. For a business model, no. For a home brewer, that's like advanced brewing. That's like next level fucking brewing.
What I find around here is usually those beers are like sold in bottles and they're meant to like, just sit on for a while. I very rarely see them on draft. Like it's not really a thing around here.
I made a really awesome Solera one time that I put on draft, and it was like I took it to a local, or not a local, but a pretty big beer festival, and I had it on a thing. Not very many people got it at the beer festival. And I gave it to all the breweries that were there. There was over 40 breweries there, and almost all of them were like, "Oh my god, that's amazing! It's a huge because they were brewers that were there, and they loved it." I had that beer on draft, and I had after the festival, I had 1 keg of it, and that keg was on tap for a year and a half. I sold it at regular pint price, and it did not move. It took me a year and a half to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's the bummer about that. All the barrel aged stuff, all the dude, I don't even want to. I can't talk about a brewery that's like had 12 anniversary beers that I can just go in there and grab like a whole case from because it hasn't sold in so long. But yeah, that's the problem with it. It's a niche beer. It's not a, dude. Peter, if we made a Brett beer on YouTube, it would fucking bomb. Like the way that menus are and titles are on YouTube videos are kind of the same. People want like Kvike IPA.
Yeah.
24-hour beer. Stuff. This and that. Like the word IPA is the biggest marketing tool of all time in beer. It really is.
Second to putting money in your title.
Back in the day, like our parents drove or drank like, I don't know, Beck's and Lowenbrau and Heineken. They didn't give a shit about it said Pilsner or Lager on it. They just wanted that brand, that little, what was Heineken's, that red star, the little 5-point little red star. Lowenbrau had like the crest lion that went like that, and Beck's had like a shield. They didn't even know what they were drinking. They were just buying the brand. Nowadays, it's like exact opposite. You better know the style, the ABV, the hops, and then you're going to pull out your credit card and swipe it. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Like my dad's like, hey, I love Heineken with all my heart. I'm like, do you even know if it's an ale or a lager? He's like, no, it's Heineken. I'm like, ship shape.
It's the best style, though.
It's
the best style of IPA is Heineken.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not about making good beer. A lot of people can make good beer. It's selling beer. And what comes down to selling beer, having a ton of fucking money for distribution and cubic volume and switching from whatever the fucking kids are drinking these days, whether it's tall boys or 40s or Red Bull cans to 12-ounce bottles to 6-packs to cubic volume, distribution will always control the mass market of brewing. And that's not me. I don't buy those beers. That's not why I'm here, but that's still beer, and that's where the money is.
Why I like what I do is because I built an entire business around just doing things differently. Like I refuse to do things the same way other people do it. I'm just not going to enter a competitive market. And so I make pretty good money, like knowing my customers know that I don't make the same beer twice. Even if it's called the same thing, they know it's consecutive batches. They know it's going to be different because I don't want to make the same beer twice. I think that's boring. And I do pretty well here on that alone. And then my vertical is not in beer selling. My vertical is in content.
I like that. I got 2 questions. Real fast, I want to give a big shout out to Chris Radiation, man. Chris, hit me up on Instagram, man. I got you on there. Maybe we could team up in a couple weeks, man. But have a good night. Thanks for being here. And second, ever since I made this video about like is craft beer dead, and I thought that craft beer was kind of dead once I left San Diego and I came out to Tennessee and I look at cities' populations versus how many breweries that they had, and I thought that everything was like San Diego. And I was dead wrong. San Diego is by far the most saturated place on planet fucking Earth. Nothing comes close. Anything you read about online, it's all bullshit because they don't take into the fact of satellite tasting rooms. What's the population of Spokane, and what is the population? How much?
250,000.
And how many breweries are there?
350,000 if you include the valley as part of Spokane. So maybe
that's always
total.
The weird place where all like the fucking hillbillies or like the, people that don't live in cities live. Yeah. How many people live in like the heart of the downtown of Spokane? 150?
So in the heart of downtown, yeah, not even that. Everyone's on the outskirts now. Downtown kind of sucks.
And how many breweries are there?
In the heart of downtown?
Yeah.
20 or so.
So it's like Knoxville.
In the whole Spokane area, there's probably about 55 breweries.
Okay, I got to get up there, man. I just think in my mind like it's freezing, it's cold and this and that. But I'm so wrong. Everywhere I have my
Today was
prejudice.
an awesome day. It's really good. Like it's right now, it's fine, fantastic. But if you come in February, yeah, we're probably gonna be worse off in most places. We have a late winter.
Dude, I used to think that about everywhere though. I used to think San Diego was the best so far. I was fucking dead wrong, man. Genius can see Idaho from his house. Yeah, pretty much. Northwest Small Batch. He's about what, a mile? He used to run over there.
As the crow flies, maybe 2 miles from Idaho, 2.5.
He's a runner. He'll get there. He'll figure it out.
It's walking distance, yeah.
No,
Running
Peter,
distance, for sure.
I want to come out there. I've got Tampa Bay. You're coming to me in January. I want to come. I want to go to Tampa Bay. We can do cheap flights down there on Allegiant and Spirit, and then I want to go to Spokane. That's my big one. After that, I want to visit Apartment Steve. Never been to Colorado, man. Have you drank beer out in Colorado?
I have not. I have been to the Colorado airport, and that's it.
Yeah, samesies. Layover vibes. Layover
If you end up with a Colorado trip, though, and it's not during track season, let me know.
Is your wife cool like that?
Yeah. So on the Knoxville trip, I'm trying to convince her to go with me and the family and like kind of do a double dip there, where we get to do like a family thing for the actual race part.
You come to Knoxville.
Yeah, no, yeah, Knoxville, and then so Asheville. I also have a buddy that lives in Asheville.
Yeah.
So do the whole loop there.
I'm trying to put out content so it gives me more leverage to go crash out at Clawhammer Supply with some homies, man. I've talked to Noam, I've talked to Aliaz about this, and me and Kyle are like pretty damn good homies these days, man. Me and fucking Noam and Aliaz are pretty good homies these days just through this, but that would be rad. That would be rad.
Yeah.
If I could get all you guys staying in, we could go to fucking Asheville for one day and come back. Where are we staying in Tampa? Metal Memory? I know nothing about Tampa. Elliot Tucker says Fort Collins. I would love to go to Fort Collins. Is Fort Collins CSU Rams? Because I know there's 3 big cities in Denver. It's like the Denver D1. I know there's the Buffaloes, the Rams. There's like 3 big cities in the city of Denver. What happened to Noam?
I'm right here.
Are we doing one more beer? No.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Noam, you're by yourself. Can you handle this?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I don't know why I said of course, but I will try my best. All right. So what's up, everybody? We got some questions. Although I do like that idea, by the way, Nuthead. That's literally what you do. You you fly to different locations, but you never leave the airport. You just go there to get hammered at like the airport bars and the few ones that have breweries inside. And then you immediately take your flight back home.
All right, guys, I'm back.
And do a blog on it. CH went to the bathroom, I think. Or maybe take a shit, or he may have went to the bar. I have no idea. Anything can happen. 1 more, 10 more. So Peter, I do have another question, real quick. So, this is not Peter. Is this Peter with a wig? What's going on? Who is this?
So, what were we talking about?
Hold on a second. I'm seeing someone that doesn't. Well, who is this? Trying to make sense.
Hi, I'm Warren. I'm one of Peter's employees at Genus.
What's up, brother?
I
Nice
do
to meet you.
tap room management, kitchen management, brewing assistanting,
Hell yeah.
and also a home brewer and random
nice.
cleaning. Yeah, do a whole bunch of stuff.
You're at the right place, man.
Yeah.
I like your
Fun.
shirt too. I need a beer as well.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So, what Peter just has been hiding back here and drinking and hanging out with you
Right?
guys. What is this thing? Remind me.
We do a podcast
Replug.
talking
Let's
about.
do a replug.
Well, so that you have no clue what this is.
No.
All right. So basically, we do a podcast where we drink beer and we talk about beer and whatever else comes up, and yeah, we just riff.
Well, shoot.
And Peter's been doing this for like 2 years now or so, and I don't know. I'm relatively new here, but nice to meet you, man.
Nice to
What was
meet
your name
you
again?
all. My name's Warren.
Warren.
Yes.
I'm Gnome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Gnome.
meet you, man.
All right, I'll give
That's
the floor
hilarious.
back to Peter. I just wanted to sneak in here and
What's crazy is like, if I've had a couple of beers, so like, my sight is a little blurred. You kind of look like Peter, just with long hair. That's why I thought he was like wearing a wig.
they thought I was you wearing a wig. Here's Peter.
You got similar glasses and everything. You just like, I thought Peter went and changed clothes real quick to like play on us or something. I don't know. That's all I got. So when are we gonna see you in some videos? Since you're a homebrewer.
Warren?
Yeah. Oh, you already left.
Yeah, you already left. Can you not
That's
see?
right.
Oh, that's right. You can't see me in real time.
The delay, yeah.
Because I can see you in real time.
Right.
No, he's Warren's already been in some videos before, actually.
Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah. But he's kind of like acting as my assistant. I don't know how much he told you, but he's kind of like acting as my assistant brewer right now, and then I think he wants to get more into it.
Nice. Yeah, hell yeah. I think I saw pictures of him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Food based, though, because he did say he had something to do with the food, but I do remember like I want to say swords are involved, but swords are always involved in your social media.
Yeah, so probably. No, he was originally hired as a kitchen dude, plus the homebrew stuff. But yeah, we're kind of reconfiguring the kitchen. I don't know if we're gonna have the same kitchen menu long term, so we might go a really, really easy kitchen model.
Yeah.
And then that would free him up a little bit to do more of the brewing side.
Yeah, I mean, I would think food your focus has to be there the whole time. I'm like, I don't know, does he order like the ingredients and worry about like the deliveries and all that?
Yeah.
Or
he's like kitchen manager, like he does all that stuff.
Right, yeah, that's a full-time job.
Yeah, we've got a relatively small kitchen, so it's not a ton, but if we can free him up and get him more into the beer side and have him help me out like with that stuff, it'd be beneficial.
Yeah, and then hire someone else for the food.
Exactly.
Yeah, CH probably is out smoking cigs with the cats.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dave Dempster, Peter, where's Tim these days? Tim is at he's actually at Natural 20 Brewing, so he's no longer with Genus.
You had somebody else from that brewery on like the Sunday streams before, no?
Yeah, we've had Reese. Reese did a. So Reese is the owner. Reese and Jackie, they're the owners of Natural 20, and we've had Reese on for the Will It Beer episode and probably a live stream, maybe.
Yeah, I could be wrong too. I could be confused, but I definitely I knew about that brewery through you guys. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just like trying to connect the dots, but
yeah.
Is that same town or like?
Yeah, Natural 20 is one of the closest breweries to us. But I know almost. I'm pretty sure I personally know every brewery owner / brewer in Spokane, or in the entire area. Which there's if you go into the outskirts like Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, it's like 60 to 80 breweries. It's a lot.
Goddamn, yeah.
But almost all of them, even in the outskirt towns like Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, which are over in Idaho, almost all of them have shopped at Genus at some point in time.
Yeah, yeah. So you connections just naturally happen. That makes sense.
Yeah. When I first opened up Genus, my thing was with connections. My first thing when I first opened up Genus was to just go to all the breweries and make friends. So
yeah, networking.
Naturally translated into to how I know everybody now.
I wish I had that ability. I don't mean to go on a huge side tangent, but just being social, that's always a challenge to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
could have fooled me.
I think it's the hardest part is just getting in your car and driving there. And then once you you get that out of the way, it's not a big deal. But I don't know. For me, it's just always a super hard challenge.
I'm a huge introvert, but I had the fortunate upbringing, unfortunate, I don't know. My dad was a stand-up comedian, improv guy growing up, and so I mirrored what he did a lot. And so but being an introvert and kind of a socially awkward dude, I also failed a lot growing up. but I would always just have that in my mind as like how I have to act. And so through kind of having a lot of awkward failures growing up, but still having that mindset where I need to, you know, kind of be on stage as a person in real life. I feel like I've kind of sorted my way through being able to overcome awkwardness in social situations. I still don't like I still get anxiety, but I have it cemented in the back of my mind that I know I've learned a lot through being, you know, first of all, a bartender or a person that, you know, needs to talk to a lot of people going on, but also with that background in my upbringing. Yeah. With that background also just, you know, I know how to like act. And if I say something shitty or weird or awkward or stupid, then the best thing you can do is just like go forward with it. And then, you know, usually if you don't have that gigantic awareness that it's awkward, then it doesn't turn into an awkward thing. And you, over time, if you're a smart enough person, you kind of learn the things to say and to not say. So I am also on the same page as you where I'm not a natural networker. I'm not an extrovert, but
Yeah.
I've just learned a lot of skills with that.
And Sage is back. How are the cats?
It's raining outside, so they're nowhere to be found,
shit.
man.
Oh,
But
damn.
it's tough, man. It's tough. And I was filming today, and I was shooting today, and I was trying to make some shit today, and the cat showed up, and it just reminded me of when we showed up to Just Brewing's house, and he was filming and shooting, and he had a leak, and we're like, "What up? Like, let us use your bathroom, this and that." That was my fucking nightmare back.
What blew my mind is when I saw the leak. I panicked, and he's like, yeah, that's fine." It'll like drop, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like that would have gave me a fucking hemorrhage."
Dude,
I'd be like freaking out about that right now, dude.
Yeah, and I think we were drinking. I don't know where we come from before we went to Just's. It was at Meanwhile again. I remember going to Meanwhile a couple times because
We went there a couple times. Yeah, I don't remember where we were before that, but I do remember where we went after that, and that was the brewery that sucked.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that in the video. You know, I've got all kind
Yeah.
of the concepts written down and all the jokes. Like, I figure the hardest part of Homebrew for Life is like trying to make it funny, and sometimes that takes time. Like the showcasing places or how to do stuff is always kind of there. And trying to, you know, if I make myself laugh, you know, I go live with it because comedy is so subjective, and there's like 50 guys that write like, "Dude, that was funny," and then there's like 10 guys that write like, "You're so fucking obnoxious. You're such a wannabe Dr. Disrespect. You're such a wannabe fucking Joe Rogan," or this and that. It's like, well, I can't really cater to those guys because, you know, obviously we talk about being introverts or extroverts. I think every human has the balance of that. You know, I heard Peter talk about like I have anxiety and this and that. We all have that. It's kind of how you balance that. Everybody has problems, and someone's got something going on. Everybody in here has something going on. And there's been days where like, not as bad as like, oh, your best friend committed suicide or something, and I'm like, dude, I can't go live tonight. But there's been a problem or this and that. Like, I can't get over it, and I go live, and this does make my shit feel better. You know, just kind of getting on here and just being yourself and drinking 5 beers or 10 beers or 3 beers or whatever. But people are people, you know, people have shit going on. And I think people loosely use terms nowadays way more than they should, whether like, oh, I'm an introvert or I'm this and that. I don't say a word till noon. Like, I don't say a word till noon. And that's why I shut down the last, not the last happy hour you and Alias came on, but before that, Greg came into town for 5 days. And it was 5 days of like from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. like, whoa, what's going on? Like narrating everything that he saw. And I was like, dude, like, I'm not ready to like people yet. You know, like Peter's talking about, I do see it from a third party's view. I'm at, you know, there's a time and a place for everything, and people probably think I'm an extrovert. I would clearly do that, but I think there's a time and a place for everything in life.
You and I talked about that on the Austin trip. I was like, dude, I wished I was able to have like your approach socially and how you like just very openly and freely interact with people. Like, it's just it seems just so easy for you, and you're like, I wish I could be like you and like just not give a fuck about shit, or however you worded it. But like, nah, just, I don't know, man. For me, I just find that stuff so fucking hard because like, before I can talk to somebody that I don't really know that well, I'm like over analyzing like what am I gonna say, how am I gonna say it,
especially
like,
when it comes to
what
girls.
words do I use?
Especially when it comes to girls. When you're talking to girls, you're like, does she hate me? Is she even like that she's even here? Like, I get that more than probably anybody. But
Yeah.
it.
Anyways,
I think there's.
sorry, I
two,
didn't mean to like
no. I think there's two.
derail this.
No, I think there's two things in life. I've got this thing where this is what I do. This is how I think. I think that one day I'm going to be 80 years old and I'm going to look back on my life. I'm going to be like, watch some guy that did something, and I was like, I could have done that. I could have started a YouTube channel. I should have done stand-up comedy. Maybe I should have tried to play pro hockey or try out for the fucking team or whatever. So just do it. And B, I think that I have this mentality that I think that everybody hates me at first. Like, just assume that everybody fucking hates you, so you can only go up from there. Like, when I was in school, I would study my ass off for tests, and I'd break my back, and that was like such anxiety, is the worrying, this and that. And I would always think, like, I'm just going to assume that I have an F. Just assume worst case scenario, and you can only kind of go up from there. And I've always done that. That's the two things I've done for myself. It was like, look back on your life. Granted, I hope that everybody in here makes it till they're 80. We won't. Not everybody in here. There's 50 people watching. There's 3 people live. We're not all going to make it to 80 with pensions and 401ks and Social Security and retirement. There's people in here that are going to get cancer, die, overdose, car crashes. That's just the nature of fucking probability. But B, just assume. And some of my best friends who I met through, the people I grew up with have known me since kindergarten, because I'm kind of this high school burnout from Encinitas. But when I got a job at Booze Brothers, everybody hated me. And now these are some of like the best friends I know. They're like, you got too comfortable. You talk too much. You put your feet up on the fucking this and that. You were given this. You cut that guy off. He's an investor, this and that. And I just feel like life's too short. And I think I get that from my mom, because I don't think my mom can get embarrassed. So I just kind of embraced that. I was like, hey, man, like, and at the end of the day, I don't want to be friends with everybody. I don't want really everybody to like me. I'm not trying to be a politician or a salesman. I'm just kind of trying to be, honest. So
thing that you learned from your mom, like your mom being like that, don't get embarrassed, don't have that anxiety. That's something that it took me a while to get, but I think that's what I learned from sales, because I put myself in a lot of sales positions too.
Yeah.
Just having to be in front of people.
Yeah.
But I don't I will be able to go through a conversation, and maybe in that conversation I start thinking somebody doesn't like me. But the best thing you can do is still move forward, and then you kind of figure out, all right, what's the next best thing I can do? What's the next best thing I can say? Yeah, and then you get over the rejection a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And then you're able to kind of recover and still, a lot of times turn things into a positive and actually make positive connections. And I love that part of kind of having to go through rejections in sales. That's how I ended up learning it. That's the only reason I say sales. True salespeople, true sales guys, I kind of hate. But if you are an introvert, like not a sales guy, and you don't put your entire personality into sales, but you gain that skill, I think that's a great way to go through a lot of tough times. Even like arguments with, for me with my wife, I was able, like, that's one thing that I learned, that I was able to like, hey, this is kind of a tough time, but this is the next best thing. I'm not going to focus on all the negatives you just said, because a lot of times if you don't have that skill, you're like, yo, you're mad at me for that thing. I've got to like dig into that thing. Like, don't talk about the thing she's mad at. That's not the right way to go with any relationship,
right?
Let alone your wife.
Right.
Let's just go on to what's the next best thing you can say, and then just kind of slough off. Just get rid of the thing that was negative, and then keep moving forward.
And Peter,
so it's a tough skill.
And I'll take it one step further. Getting shut down by people that are anonymous, like, no, you're in a band. You've been in a band. I do YouTube. I used to do stand-up comedy. Doing shit in front of people is my nightmare. It's my fucking nightmare. Selling a stranger a pen.
That's a great point, by the way. Yep, I know exactly where you're going. Yep.
Yeah,
playing in front of a stranger, don't give a shit. Playing in front of like, your uncle or your like best friend or like an ex-girlfriend or something, like that's like, oh, what the fuck.
Not only that, but you just hit the nail on the head, like an ex-girlfriend. She's like, that's where you're at. And like, if you're not killing it at that as a salesman or a YouTuber or in a band or a comedian or any musician or any guy that's a public speaker or this and that, it's a different world. I can go on stage, and that's why YouTube was so rad for me, and that's why I created the whole like CH name. My name is Casey Hardy. But when I started doing videos, I went by my initials, CH. And this was like 10 years ago on a channel that I used to do software engineering, computer JavaScript shit and tutorials and all that stuff. And I was so afraid that my like 2 or 3 friends would find these videos and make fun of me that I went by CH. This is 10 years ago. This is a channel called Village Park Source. Google that right now, or don't.
Unsubscribed.
But if you watch my first YouTube video, it's legitimately like, hey, what's up? This is like CH. Today we're gonna. But you have to do that. Like it's like your first night doing open mics, or your first time in the batter's box trying to hit a home run. You need to strike out. You need to people tell you no. You need to feel like you're a pile of shit. And you get this confidence of being in front of people. And I always had this, like as a class clown, I always hated school and I was trying to fit in. And I thought the best way to fit in was to make people laugh and bullshit and make fun of the substitute teachers. And I did a lot of funny shit growing up. You know, I'd run over to the next suite over in the high school and call the substitute teacher and be like, hey, you're fired. You can like pack up all your shit and this and that. Or if I knew there was a substitute teacher, I would run into the classroom and I'd put a Pam Anderson porno all over the classroom just so she, like a little old lady, would wig out. But that's different than being on camera or like hearing. I think what I do, Homebrew for Life, like hearing your voice and seeing your face, I think it's super fucking unhealthy. But you really have to know that sense. And like, it's a tough thing to do when you're explosively hungover. That's why I don't edit anymore. But like, no, imagine like editing in the morning after a night of the happy hour being like, we're taking that guitar riff, we're taking that vocals, and it's all you. Like it's all you. And Peter like, oh, we got to like push all this stuff and do this and make YouTube videos and run businesses, 3 businesses and this and that. And it's all you. It's like, now you have to edit that. Like this isn't really fucking healthy. This isn't really fucking healthy. You have to know that sense. What do you do if you're afraid of going on roller coasters? You have to go on roller coasters. If the guy that wants to beat you up, that bully that is taking your money every day, what do you have to do? Sooner or later, you have to throw a punch. And you have to do it in like a big crowd of people. And you have to let people see that you were like, he's never going to fuck with you ever again. You have to know these type of senses. And I believe in shit like that. Like, hey, man, like if this guy's been fucking with me and I know he's going to kick my ass, here's what's going to happen. He's going to fight me after school. I'm going to get to the higher ground on the back part of where we fight after school because I know that I have at least a better advantage if I'm above him and not down below him because he could just tackle me or ragdoll me. So I had to start kind of thinking about these ways kind of growing up. And it's worked, I think, in some regards, you know, and in some regards, there's people from high school that are like, what does Casey Hardy do now? He makes YouTube videos on YouTube. What a fucking loser. I can't think about them. I can't think about that. I got to think about the anonymous guy that's like, I love Homebrew for Life. Where's the next video? I love Genius Brewing. Where's the next video? I love Gnome's Band. Where's the next video? That's where you need to put your passion and your effort into. You know, and it's like whether you're selling cars. I have friends that are like, hey, I'm on real estate, Facebook down. I'm trying to sell people umbrella packages and this and that. It's cringe because I know them and I've seen them bounce from job to job every 6 months. But I love the hustle. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit if you're fucking making $1 billion selling software, picking up dog shit. I only care that people have jobs. That's really all I care about is people's work ethic. Like I know people bullshit. And when I go out with people and, you know, they don't have too much money to throw around, I'll pay for all that. As long as you work, as long as you have a job, like people say your word is your bond. That's bullshit. Your work ethic is your bond. I deal with people all day that are full of fucking shit. As long as you work.
Well, your actions, basically.
I got your back. Like I got you. I'll vouch for you. If you show up to work and you can show up to work hungover and you're fucking still killing it and this and that, to me, that's respect. Outside of like killing it at sports or being a bajillionaire or being a pro fighter or something like that. If you're a fucking working man and you show up and you grind and your wife's bitching at you and your kids are, eating dino nuggets, but you're still like grinding and mowing your lawns on the weekend, to me, that's fucking respect.
Yeah.
Had me at Dino Nuggets. Dino Nuggets IPA, dude.
Yeah. Hey, man, just work. Everybody just fucking work, man. The problem with the world anymore, it's not that it's soft. It's not media. People that work construction or, a real job or, at a restaurant in the back and you see how the real world works, it's going to give you some thicker skin that you've never fucking imagined. It's not like college where everything's like, here's 6 books on this bullshit and I'm going to charge you $55,000. When you see real people work, and I'm going to probably say something I'm going to regret, but when I used to work construction, man, like I was so inspired by the Hispanic community that like it like blew my mind. There was a couple white guys here and there that like really earned their $30 an hour, but for the most part, I worked with Miguel, who's my fucking hero, and every day he'd be like, hey, man, come to church with me. You come to my funeral. You come to my funeral. He was a man of the cross, this and that. I don't give a shit about your religion thing or what, Trump or Biden. This guy worked harder than anybody I'll ever met, and it was like one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Your work ethic is your bond.
Yeah, and that's respectable. Like, yeah, when I I know a lot of people that work their balls off, and I respect the shit out of that as well. Like, I don't know, someone that has everything handed to them versus someone that's like worked their way to that status.
Oh, dude!
Obviously, you're gonna respect the person that's worked their way up to that status. I don't know. It's kind of. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, man.
You pretty much said it basically. So,
and I'm like, I used to bro down with like the guys that were like broken English that would still come over, and we still had good camaraderie because I would try to like I was a fucking flake in my teens. I was a fucking flake. I was a flake in my teens. I was a fucking flake in my 20s. I could have been so much better at sports, made so much more money. I was just a fucking flake, man. And like when I hit 30, shit got real. Like shit, I don't know. Like my work ethic just got better, and the world kind of scared me that I was 30. And I talked to these guys, and they've told me about like the underground, not the Underground Railroad, but like how they got in here, and it costs like for a Hispanic guy from Mexico City or Tijuana to get in here, you have to come up with like $900 cash or $1,200 cash, and a white guy will take you in there and then drop you off at like a gas station, and somebody from East LA has to pick you up. When I started hearing these stories, I was like, life is real. We're all human. We all fucking bleed. We all smell shit, taste, hear, see the same shit. And when I started hearing that from like a white kid from upper class middle suburbia, I was like, I wish I would have had this when I was like 10. I'm late to the table, but I'm fucking here now. Like I'm here now, man. I don't give a shit if you're guy, girl, gay, straight, this or that. Like work ethic is fucking your bond. It's really your fucking bond. So I don't know. And then came Homebrew for Life, and I was like, okay, this and that. I can, I started doing Adderall. Peter, are you into Adderall? Have you ever done Adderall?
Yeah, I've got a prescription.
Oh, you do? Okay. Have you ever tried to edit a video without it? Because that's where I'm at now.
Yes.
Is it not the same?
Oh, 100%. So if I have to do sit-down work, like my productivity, so if I'm off Adderall, I am usually, when I'm working, I'm doing 4 or 5 things at once, and I just kind of bounce around and see what I end up doing the most on. That's a nice thing about I have a lot of different jobs, and that's a nice thing about having a lot of different jobs, is because I can always bounce to something else. If I'm on Adderall, that's the only time that I can sit down and just do something.
What do you rock? 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams?
10 to 20, depending on the day.
20, dude. If I had 20 milligrams of Adderall, because I'm not used to it, I would be like Golem trying to find that last ring, climbing in both your houses at the same time right now. I would. No,
I'm 250 pounds, so I'm also
okay. You're
dude,
diluted.
So.
You're 250 right now.
Yeah, 250.
You do not look like. I look like the fattest motherfucker.
You look like a skinny 250, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm skinny fat.
I'm 250.
Damn.
You're 6'3"?
So you're more than double me.
Yeah.
You're 2 gnomes. If
More than 2 of me.
If Gnome and
I would
Peter had a
120.
kid right now, it would look exactly like me. It would look exact. Take the 2 upright, take the beard, take the short, take the
Holy
fat.
shit.
It would look exactly like me. Nah, I'm
That's
kidding.
crazy, dude.
But I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Well, what do you guys say? You guys want to get out of here or what? We're coming up on 3 hours. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, I probably should. I had more than I needed, but
Or one more beer.
Yeah, well, I just poured one, so I mean,
All right,
either way,
well,
I'm
one more
drinking it
beer.
off
All right,
stream
all
or
right,
on
all right,
stream.
I can do one more seltzer.
There you go.
I was gonna say something.
to-
Yeah, I had something to add to the whole like I don't know whatever CH's rant was. I was on it. I agreed with it, and then I forgot what I was gonna add to it.
I'm down, Todd. You're the first person to ask, but I'm absolutely down.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'll do a collab with
another
anyone. 1 more, 5 more, 10 more, 20 more. Be 12 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Well, 11 a.m. Let's say, and we'll be all shit faced and passed out. BrajCon early. 1 more, 8 more. You can't just change the number. Oh God. Well, it's not. I'll tell you off stream, Massa. You're have fun in Rhode Island because this place kind of sucks. I mean, I love Rhode Island, but man, it's I don't know. If I didn't have family here, I would move in an instant. Like it's more than family too; it's friends. But I don't know. This place is like not the best. The cost of living, like compared to like the national average, I think it's like roughly 25% more expensive, and you get nothing for your money. Like a crap house will cost like 400 grand. I mean, not to compare to like California, where a crap house will cost like $1 million, but
Yep.
it's
Nothing
pretty bad.
Nothing to compare to California.
But here's the thing too, though. The median earnings here is like 38,000 a year, like on average. So like people are poor and things are expensive. So
Dude, it's all bullshit, bro.
rough.
It's literally all bullshit. I make pretty much pouring beer, pouring drinks. You make $30 an hour, whether you're in California or you're in Tennessee. But that's different because people tip like 20 to 30 to 40% differently. But still, like there's jobs out here that people are making $15 an hour in Tennessee. And when I came out here, I thought it was going to be like $4 or $5 an hour. People don't work anymore. People don't work anymore. People don't work the way they used to. So it's different. So you have way more leverage as an employee than you do as an employer. Peter, would you agree with that?
Yeah, sort of. The medium household price right here in Spokane is like 400,000 right now. But minimum wage is also $14.50, so our minimum wage is on the highest side overall.
Blue state.
I don't pay my employees minimum wage. I pay them over that, but I always try to give opportunity. Like I hire people that want to work. I view hiring as a contractual thing. Like, hey, do you want to work for me for a combination of the money and the education? If not, then this might not work out. Like, and I tell everyone that up front. Like, if this isn't like something that you're feeling, this needs to be an open conversation. I never want you to feel like I'm trying to underpay you, undercut you. I have what I have to give, and that's what I have to give. And I've obviously worked other jobs, like gotten my own employment elsewhere, so that I can still pay my employees and keep a business running. So it's not like I'm trying to like swindle anybody. Like I try to pay as good as I can and give everybody the good opportunities that they want to have. And so I think I view my education as part of what I have to offer when I hire employees. If they are not interested in the beer industry, they're probably not going to be as valuable as an employee, etc.
Peter, is it true that your biggest expense as a business owner is your labor?
Yeah,
by far,
it's huge. Yeah, so we've gone. I think our highest
people
labor
are like,
costs.
dude, like inflation's high because of like the tariffs that like Obama and Trump had. I'm like, no, it's all based off minimum wage. It's all based off.
Yeah, labor's huge. Like we've had labor as high as $11,000 a month, and our gross revenue is between 30 and 40,000. So 11,000 is a huge percentage of that. Yeah, and then you got cost of goods sold on the homebrew side. Obviously, our cost of goods it's low margin. So if we didn't have the high margin beer sales, it just wouldn't work out. And that's with me
All about
brewing
the
and not,
margins.
and not paying myself.
Margins.
Like
Here we go.
we've had
No.
several months
Suck it
where
in.
I don't pay myself at all, and then I don't. We still lose money if I don't. Like we've had months where I don't pay myself at all, and we still lose money. So
I can't relate, but I feel the pain, and I know that I watched your video, like how you started a brewery with $2,000, and looking back on that, what was that, about 5 years ago?
yeah, that video is about 5 years ago.
And I'm sure that everybody thought that like everyone's life would go up and up and up and up, but like my friends that own breweries in San Diego, at this point, they're just like, I think the bigger businesses are just losing money at a slower rate than like the mom and pops. I don't know if I should be saying this live on the internet or not, but there's a reality to your industry versus where you are in the world, in the state, and I feel the pain to an extent, even though I kind of again don't know what I'm talking about.
People think owning a brewery, like a lot of people that start breweries,
Like everyone's a millionaire.
and I think this
Everyone's
has
a rich millionaire. Like
yeah, exactly. A lot of people have looked at it from the outside as homebrewers, especially, and this has gone down. So it isn't the same as it was like 2-3 years ago. Owning a homebrew supply store, I see kind of like the dreams and aspirations of every new brewer that comes in, but they see the quote unquote margins of beer, and they're like, all right, well, I know that as a home brewer, doing something I like to do for my 5 hours labor, that's my hobby time.
Sure.
I can make beer for 50 cents to 80 cents per pint, and these breweries are selling it for $7, $8 a pint. Like what? That must be a
The
great thing to be
margins are
into.
insane. But then you have COVID. You got fucking high turnover. I'm sorry.
You've got your rental income, you've got your labor, you've got like all the other things that go into owning a business. You've got to pay an accountant to figure out. You've got to pay your local taxes. You got to pay federal taxes. Like people don't realize how quickly those margins are eaten away unless you're doing a lot of beer sales. And so then to get to a lot of beer sales, it's a huge marketing scheme. And so you've got to be the best marketer in your area,
Right.
Which is one of the reasons that I just don't play the same games that a lot of the breweries that are locally play. Is because half the local breweries are probably not doing great. If I'm being honest, they just don't. I don't see my vertical in like beer distribution or just putting out more beer. I think it's a stupid vertical for where I can put money right now. Then I see content and everything that I can do on the media side as my vertical. So,
which is cool about YouTube is like you can really control that. Like you can control that dragon way better than force feeding customers to come in on based off foot traffic. It's like if you're really good at YouTube, and it's tough to be because we're brewers and it's a very niche thing. Roswell's in the house, but you can still control like, hey, I'm going to put out this video today and it's going to make X amount of money and this and that. Like I have friends breweries in San Diego that are like, we have promo after trivia night, after this and that, and nobody's showing up. And we're paying people to do new graphics, and we're losing money and this and that. And it's sorry.
Have you heard of the marketing dilemma, or the marketing concept called the prisoner's dilemma? Which prisoner's dilemma was a concept before marketing, but it's most applied to marketing. No,
I haven't heard of most things, by the way.
Okay. Well, so the prisoner's dilemma is like, let's say you've got two people that are they committed a crime, right? And they're both in separate rooms with a different interrogator. And the interrogator's shtick is that he says, you're going to go to prison for 3 years if you guys both, if we call you guilty, we're both going to go to prison for 3 years. If you rat on your friend, then you'll only go to prison for 1 year, and he'll go to prison for 3 years. And then if we both don't say anything, then you're not going to go to prison because you're probably not going to get caught, right?
It's like a community versus competition Venn diagram.
Yeah. So, but if your friend rats you out, then you're going to go to prison, and he's not going to go to prison, right? Or he's only going to go for 1 year, right?
Sure.
And so that's That's the theme behind marketing, and that's why I don't compete on the same levels that other breweries in my area or just kind of in general compete on. I want to do something different all the time because they're all in that same prisoner's dilemma. Hey, if you're trying to do trivia nights and 40 other breweries in your hometown are doing trivia nights, then the value of trivia nights is going to go down and the cost is going to go up.
100%.
And it's the same, every single thing in marketing, and that's why that's the game that I don't play.
Well, and the thing about trivia nights to me in San Diego, some places have it and they kill it. Like they actually have it established for the last 4 or 5 years. And I've seen it. Like people come in, they're like, dude, we're doing Star Wars trivia night or Harry Potter trivia night. Mm-hmm. People lose their fucking minds. For most breweries, it's a kind of like a last resort to get people in on like a Monday or Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Yeah. But even ones that kill it, like let's say you've got a small brewery that looks packed, right? And they look packed, and on that night they're doing instead of their normal $500, they're doing $1,200 a night.
Right.
Which I mean, there's different scales of breweries, so it could be $1,000 to $3,000. Sure. But in my local area, smaller breweries, it's $500 a night. For like let's say an off night, like a Monday, up to $1,200, right? Mm-hmm. And so their gross margins minus labor really eats up a lot of that already. So let's say that's an extra $200 there, and then they are also paying the trivia hosts or their own labor, which I don't know how they value their own labor, but that's probably another $200. So really, the gross profit difference in trivia night versus not trivia night isn't a huge difference. It's like you're battling and making this big win happen for $200, when I'd rather put in a less effort and have like some sort of $1,000+ swing.
And you even forgot to mention that some food trucks want a minimum, so you might be losing money on like the food truck outside.
Yeah.
Do you have to deal with food trucks and doing a minimum? Like they won't show up unless you get $400 or $500?
I don't do food trucks at all.
Because of exactly what I just said?
Pretty much.
Yeah, for those who don't know what we're talking about, it's kind of a weird relationship because food trucks, we think like, hey, this guy's got pizza or this and that, and they're going to sell a ton of stuff. It's a weird relationship because they're only kind of there to leech off breweries or places with high volume, foot traffic, which is more often than not breweries. But they also want like, hey, if we don't make $300 or $500 in sales, you have to pay the difference. And I think that 99% of breweries are like, it's just not worth it. Like, just get your own food and bring it in. I don't want to deal with like another fucking vendor, like a daily contracted vendor, which is, and if you make over $500, I don't get none of that. And you can come back in 2 weeks from now. You can make $2,000, $2,500. I don't get a piece of that, even though I let you freeload off my lot. And you can come back and make $275 the next Friday, and you're asking me now for $125 to hit your minimum. It's a fucking headache.
Yeah. And a lot of times they don't offer the mark. So in the ideal world, a food truck is marketing, right? So they should offer marketing, but a lot of food trucks are there because there's and this is, again, goes into the prisoner's dilemma of marketing. They're there because there's the mindset that a food truck is needed for certain events or for whatever. And so they're not, they don't feel like there's not the obligation for them to offer their own marketing. Like there's very few food trucks, at least in my area. I don't know how it is for you, but there's very few food trucks
that carry their own weight on social media and shit.
Exactly.
No one's going to show up. Yeah.
They're bringing their own customers.
Yeah, most food trucks just get lucky that like the college football team's playing the rival and they were there and they made a fucking killing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. If there's a food truck that's like, they're the shit and they are going to pack a place no matter where they are,
right?
100%. That's probably worth paying them some money or at least guaranteeing them some money, right?
John Favreau's Cubanos from the Chef movie, but that's not the reality of it. Maybe it is in Manhattan, maybe it is in New York, but it's not there in San Diego. When it's not there in San Diego, it's not there in a lot of places.
Not there in Spokane.
No one gives a shit about you.
There's not a food truck that can park in the middle of nowhere and get a line of customers. They're leeching off of breweries' marketing.
That's a Cinderella story. If there is those food trucks out there, I want that food truck, and to be honest with you, it's probably not going to live up to the hype. I'd rather just go to In-N-Out Burger or Whataburger in Texas.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All right, what do you guys say? NBC for the one time. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I got this much left.
I got this much left too. Should we just keep chilling, or should we slam it, or chill? Peter, how you doing on
I'm gonna
time?
slam it. I probably should have been gone a while ago. My wife. It's not my wife that's gonna be mad or anything like that. It's just like
That's
I
why I
probably
love you,
should
Peter.
get to bed early.
That's why I love you. All I know
'Cause-
how to do is get people in trouble. But you're going to be in good trouble. You know, we weren't doing any Jeffrey Dahmer shit or voting on the fucking Dodgers or Braves to win. We're just chilling out. We're just brodging.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing, and I Peter, I've thought about this, and someone just brought up a good point. Knothead Brewing said short rib food truck. I have a friend that tries to sell real estate in Napa, and he's like, dude, nobody gets into the Napa game unless you're been around for 30 years. Like no one, like you have to have a guy that comes in and knows about fire insurance, this, that, mold, termites, this and that. Why don't all the people that suck in Hollywood, the B-listers that you're like, oh, I love that guy, why don't they start doing food trucks, and why don't they start doing real estate? You're like, whoa, Scott Baio, burnout from the 80s. Like, dude, I'll totally give him my... They can make way more fucking money doing food trucks or real estate than they could ever do in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's because they don't swallow their pride. Like, once they're in Hollywood, you're like, dude, I can never work a real job again. I can't be like a working man. I would only do that. Hey, I was the big guy, Steve Urkel in the 70s or 80s. Time to, flip some burgers. That's the food truck that would sell out. I'm kind of a fucking idiot, so tell me when I'm wrong at any point.
Oh no, that's what Taylor Swift, when she got big, she did real estate, and that's what made her money right now. Like she's
Really?
not, yeah, she makes more money on her other business than she does in music.
Like as a real estate agent?
No, like, well, sort of, but as an investor in real estate.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, like, if you have a name and you made it, like Icky Woods or somebody, Terry Bradshaw from the 80s, you won a couple Super Bowls, and you're, let's go to the door, let's do a food truck, sell some insurance or this and that. I would be like, dude, I got you. Like, are you kidding me? You're going to have way...
That's what influencers have figured out. Like, that's what, like, look at Logan Paul, look at Mr. Beast, look at, like, big influencers that have gotten as big as, like, A-list celebrities, but they weren't like, I'm just going to make movies for forever. So Mr. Beast has Feastables.
Yeah.
He has Beast Burger.
Chicken burger.
Logan Paul has the whatever the drink is.
I hate Logan Paul. Is that the guy that did Suicide Forest, or is that the guy that tries to fight everybody?
Yeah. No, that was Suicide Forest. His
that
brother's the guy that tried to fight everybody.
Man. I really didn't like the Suicide Forest thing. I really didn't like
I
that.
am.
It was stupid. It was stupid.
Man, I've been talking for a while.
You're muted?
Man.
Oh no!
Fucking
Yeah, the Suicide Forest thing was that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Because I know the reality of that.
Good
Roswell.
job, brother. Thank you for helping me out there.
You know the reality of that whole Suicide Forest thing, though. It's like Jake Paul or Logan Josh Paul or whatever the fucking Paul's name. It's like, hey, I just flew you fuckers out from LA to Japan. We better see some like guy die in like this place that people are supposed to die. And when we see it, you run in the front, film me there. You run in the back and film the dead body. And let's get 5 guys that are like, ah, oh my God, ah. And then you had 40 days or whatever, 40 hours, a bunch of days, a week to go home and film it and then edit it and be like, should we still go live with like this dead body we saw in Suicide Forest? And they're like, yeah, it's like going to get 1 million views. They're like, okay. Jake,
right.
Logan Paul, and then they went live with it, and it got backlash, and Jake Paul cries on YouTube, and I was like, dude, this guy, or
Fake
Logan
cries,
Paul.
of course.
Well, the problem I have with YouTubers is the crying analogy, like the crying, like this was it, like I'm so sincere. It's like, guys, again, this isn't a live broadcast. You filmed it, spent a ton of money to go see a dead body. Yeah. You came back. You had your friends be like, like run in and out. You had so much time to think about it. And then you still went live with it. And then you got backlash from people, the media, your downvotes. And now you're sorry. And it's PewDiePie. It's a million fucking who's the girl that did Nicki Minaj or who's the redheaded girl that she used to do
I
like
don't know that one.
Jenna
Big streamer?
Malone. Jenna Malone.
Jenna Marbles?
Jenna Marbles, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you literally ripped on everybody and you shouldn't have never apologized. You were like, this is what we did. Like we were trying to exploit a dead body. Don't ever act sad or fake cry. This is what you did. This is exactly what you did. You had a million fucking lifetimes to think about it and you still went live and you put it out. And when the media comes back to you, you're like, you're not sorry for the family. Everyone's got a friend in here that's had, somebody die from cancer, suicide, dementia, Alzheimer's. You don't give a shit about them. You're sorry that your fucking bottom line is going like that. And when people cry, it creates another viral video and it brings them back. And it's just like, I can't do it. I can't look at these guys ever again. I don't care if you beat up Muhammad Ali or Floyd Jones or whatever the fuck. I can't. I'm out. I'm fucking out. Beat up the Diaz brothers at the same time, and people forget about it because at the end of the day, humans are fucking retarded, and time heals all wounds. And I don't know. I just people wish that they held on to shit better, and I don't know. All the YouTubers mentioned, you're just talking the worst. That's fair. At the end of the day, I'm just spreading, it's their name in my mouth. That's all the time we have, though. Anything else? Mr. Beast is spreading the love. I respect that. Jonathan, great work. Keep showing the work.
Yeah, a lot of the YouTubers we talked about also, they are doing better now than they were like back then. Like when they were like a lot of people do go through that that they fall into the addiction of gaining followers and doing the hype thing, the wow thing for gaining followers.
Dude, I do it too, man.
That's a human thing to do. If you were like, I would anybody in the comments, like what they did sucked totally. But if anybody in the comments was like all of a sudden making $1 million doing hype things, like so many of you would do fucked up shit because you thought it was going to get the views. Like, so there's the duality. All of you that are going to judge in the comments any of this, by the way, I just want to throw that out there.
No,
that's fair. If you feel into that. If you feel into like millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars for getting hype views, I'm not saying that it's right. It's definitely not right.
It's definitely not
Logan
right.
Paul did with the Suicide Force, definitely not right. But I'm saying it's easy to. I'm just reading the comments that are on this right now, saying like, "Oh yeah, but you're talking about the worst ones." Yeah, they were pretty shitty people at the time. But would some of you guys do the same fucked up shit if it was going to get you tens of millions of dollars?
I would never. I'll tell you that. I would never. I dude. To me, it's like, hey, let's go and do like a dementia house and see like old people that can't remember their shit. And I guarantee you there's a billion YouTubers that have done that. Be like, hey, like let's make fun of grandma. I would never fucking do that. I would never.
I wouldn't either. But you and I also have you and I also have the experience of being on the internet, right? So you and I have been on the internet for I don't know 10 years, and so we've done like minor fucked up shit. I think probably both of us. We've done like minor things that like,
I've done way, yeah. But I also have like a soul, and I kind of draw the line somewhere. But yeah, like I think I said Jake Paul was retarded or Logan Paul was retarded, so that's probably in some people's minds like some But no, like I could never for $1 billion do what I saw from that, and that's all I took from that. He can beat up everybody once, and I understand there's money behind it, and everyone's chasing the next thing. As with I am,
it's not the money. It's not the money. It's the fact that they're kids. I mean, at the time, kids, and this is coming from somebody like I coached a lot of kids, and so like I obviously have the perspective of being an adult and like understanding adult things, and I understand that a lot of people that are a lot of kids that are like getting in this internet hype sensation or that grew up in this internet hype sensation, which you and I had the benefit of like becoming adults before trying to be internet.
Sure. Oh, I would have fucked this
whatever.
You're right. I would. Yeah. In that regard, I even in my fucking worst sixth grade mind, I don't think I could do that. But I would still like tell a fucking library that like I'd put a whoopee cushion under her ass and put laxative in her coffee.
Right.
Yeah, like I was fucked up in my own regard.
There was your own version of fucked up shit. And like if you're developing your entire personality, your entire like in your mind at the time, the future of your entire world. Like so Logan and Jake Paul got famous on Vine, and so they, you know, that the internet hype was there like very, very early on in their lives, like 14, 15, right? And so how they constructed their whole universe was around this internet hype thing.
Right.
You and I got to grow up before that, right? That's all I'm saying.
No, you're right. And we got old enough to know that like we did experience people that, you know, passed away from suicide or had depression or killed themselves or had dementia or Alzheimer's. And you're like, as a 13-year-old, you're like, hey, it's an old fart, or like, hey, it's a dead body. So yeah, I know what you're saying. I definitely know what you're saying.
Yeah, we just don't. There's world building that happens in everybody's brain that, like, you know, you and I see the exact same thing, and like we know it's right, we know it's wrong, but also we had the world building works differently in different people's brains, and so like I have to deal with this all the time with like, you know, like people that come into high school.
Like world building.
I've heard it in terms of like video games, but never in like real life.
Yeah, everyone builds their own world. Like you've got your own rules, your own game mechanics, whatever. Like however you want to describe it. Everyone's got their own world, and not everyone realizes that other people have different game mechanics with how they've built their world, right?
Yeah, but no, that's true. And I was always kind of a reverse bully growing up. Like I always fucked with people that were my friends, but I knew that they could kick my ass. But I wanted to roughhouse and wrestle with them anyways. So I don't know.
Testing the waters, man.
What?
Testing the waters.
Yeah, I always just wanted to be like, hey, like I think I was a reverse bully. Like I want to fuck with like Mike Stevenson from Culver, who every time I drink 6 beers, he's 6'6", he's a CIF wrestler from Vista, California, could beat my ass. Oh. But every time I drink 6 beers, I'm like, we have to go outside and wrestle. Like this guy would mop me up. This guy
yeast. I was gonna say yeast.
There.
Fuck you.
Oh man.
Like I'm gonna laugh at it, but like,
that's all the time we have. That's all the time we have.
All right, sorry.
All right, did the Padres really win?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think so. Like 4-2 or something. I probably already fucked up the score.
Hey, we need to get out of here, though. We need to get out of here, though. It's 3 hours in. We just have to, or else I'll take it down in the morning. We didn't say anything bad, right?
Probably, but who cares?
We might have skirted some bad things.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about like how. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. Hey, we're all out of here.
Nothing racist, nothing sexist, nothing cancel culturable.
It's not that. It's about talking shit about people that we know. It's about like, is Logan Paul in here? He's like, hey, I was supposed to be on Genesis and CH's MySpace Top 8, man. I was trying to do my best thing to rebound. No, I'm just kidding.
Logan, when you're watching, you're number 9, I swear.
Logan, when you're watching, man. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to the guys that are on Business as Usual. Alias, who's down there in Calle de Plamen. And then Gnome out there in Rhode Island. Peter there in Spokane. As much as I want to say Spokane. Love you too, Zach Pearson. That's 8-Man Brewing. Much love, Peter. Let's get out of here. Peter broke his sobriety to hang out with us tonight. I'll keep this one up, right? There's no reason to take this down?
Why not?
I think we're good. Yeah,
I'm keeping it up. Everybody have a good night, man. Shout out to Jonathan Elliott, Zach, Brajwell's out there in North Dakota. Yeast in the Barrage. He just showed up. Jonathan Elliott, Pacific Northwest in the house. KO Brewing. That's a great name for a fucking anything. Logan versus Peter boxing match. It wouldn't even happen. I'll just go in there and shoot Logan before Peter even fucking tied up the things. Later, Roswell.
Take him down. I'm pretty sure I got Logan Paul by like 30 pounds. So
I can't do it, man. I you know, I
2.5 gnomes.
You like what you like. You don't care how big or small people are. You just like what you like. That's what I say, man. Everybody, hey, Knothead, man, steal all the stuff. I don't even call it stealing, man. I take it as a compliment. He asked me the other day if he could take some clips from Homebrew for Life video. Do it. Let people know that I used to brew, and now I'm just a piece of shit poser for life. Poser for life. But let's get out of here, all. How about it, huh? 12:15. Hey, thank you, Noam.
That's good.
Everyone have a good night, man. I love the love. I love the love. Let's get out of here. Have a good night, everybody. Later, Coach Chone. Later, Blackwood Brews.
Thanks, Ghost. I appreciate you, man.
Peace in the Middle East.
Have a good night, guys.
Later, y'all. Norm will see you in like 2 weeks. Peter will see you in like 2 months.
Hell yeah,
Brent.
man. Can't wait.